Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into round number 4 of the 2024 RaceFactoryGaming National Championship live here on Start Your Systems TV. I'm Kellen Brower, Andrew Wood alongside me. High Point, we have moved east. We are in Pennsylvania now. Way more hills than we've seen through the first couple rounds. I know Hangtown and Thunder Valley does have hills, but man, High Point, maybe one of the hilliest tracks we have all year.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I tried to ride a couple laps on it yesterday, and there's ruts, off cambers everywhere. It's going to be a pretty fun track. It's very high, very fast too, very high pace. So it'll be some gnarly racing for sure.
Yeah, and we've seen quite a mixed bag of results through the first 3 rounds. We thought we had maybe some things figured out after the first round, and then we've kind of had 3 or 4 different guys in both classes really rise to the top and give us some good races so far. So I think we're going to have more of the same tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think you'll find the maybe 1 or 2 that kind of start to separate themselves a little bit, but we haven't really found that fully yet. So I think we're still kind of looking who's going to be able to pull away in the standings. But I mean, early on in the season, it's great because we really don't know who's going to win every time we go to the line.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Let's go ahead and look at our qualifying times. We'll go to our intermission screen here. Before we get racing here tonight, looks like Payson Johnson did go fastest, which, to be fair, we've kind of grown to expect with him a little bit, so it's not a surprise to see him at a 2:01.8 there, but closer than usual with Payson. I know it was the fastest last week, but only 0.4 off for Pablo Vial, Alexis Leclerc right there within a second, Seth Shirley also right there as well. So perhaps maybe not a complete runaway that we could see out of anybody tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Vial was our fastest qualifier last week, so for him to only be just over 0.2 off of Payson is going to be pretty good. I mean, you never really know who's going to win. All the heavy hitters, except for maybe Tyler Lane, Colby Eaglin, a little bit further back there, 3 to 4 seconds off the pace, though, is going to be really interesting because those are guys that we're used to kind of seeing up there. Frank Jackson back there as well. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens when we get into the Moto, but it is fun to see Trevor Burns and Buddy Parker out there up early and see if they can get some good starts and kind of battle with these guys when we really haven't seen too much of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a good mix of guys that we're always looking forward to seeing who kind of shows up and makes it a little bit more fun. We definitely do look like we're going to have some consolation races, so we'll get to those in just a minute. Before we do, look at our 250 motocross qualifying standings. Seth Carr, Cade Matherly right at the sharp end. Logan Leitzel, we talked right at the beginning of the show about kind of the breakaway group. Kind of seems like this is the breakaway group. Carr, Matherly, and Leitzel. Maybe sprinkle in Sullivan winning some motos. We saw Partolo look really good at Hangtown, for example. But yeah, those top 3 are kind of establishing themselves.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is the class that we've seen kind of separate themselves the most early on. Partolo showed really strong early on, but just hasn't really been able to back it up. Sullivan has had spice here and there. But this one, same as well. Cool to see Colin Holden, Jack Mark, Wilczek up there with some fast qualifying times. Ollie Cruz we saw last week for kind of the first time up front and throws in another fast lap time here. So really fun. And yeah, I think it's going to be between those 2, and that's going to be the story we're watching Moto in and Moto out of those guys and who can get the better of each in every moto.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll talk about our standings really quickly here. 250 motocross, again, there's those three at the sharp end of the field, 12 points between them. Carr, Matherly, and Leitzel. Carr having a good week at Thunder Valley, kept the championship lead for another week, up 10 points on Cade Matherly. In our 450 motocross class, though, it is still Payson Johnson up 19 on T-Lang. Leclerc looking really strong last week. I feel like the first time we saw Leclerc look like Leclerc last week at Thunder Valley. I don't know if it's just slow start coming off Supercross or something like that, but maybe as we move east, the real 5-time champ starts to show up again.
Yeah, I think that is kind of the first time we saw him look really strong, and this is another track that's really fast with some downhills that are rutted and just high-speed stuff that Payson Johnson really excels at, but so does Leclerc. And Lang, I feel like he's just going to go be kind of smooth throughout. But yeah, way bigger gap, 12 points between the top three and 250s, and then it's 19 just to second right now, and then kind of falls off a cliff. So really between those three right now, Payson Johnson, Alexis Leclerc, and Tyler Lang are going to be the ones trying to separate themselves and put in good finishes here. So those will be the three that we're kind of watching out for when someone gets a bad start. We're going to be looking back and seeing where they're at and seeing who can kind of pull out first, I guess.
See who can pull out first. We're gonna end up on SMX. Come over
bad,
here.
dude.
Come on. Good Lord. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna come.
Oh my gosh. Hey, we're just out here having a time.
Put my blade in the blender early.
My plane in a blender.
Get me out of here.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get into the server because I think we are about to at least get a consi going here pretty quickly. I want to see. Did they maybe boot me out of the server? What's going on here? Oh, there we go. Or maybe
We'll get
not.
there when it's time.
You know, one
race rider,
there
dude.
we go.
One day.
My game is lagging.
You're getting
hard
kicked
right
out.
Now.
You got Photoshop trying to open in the background.
I was
There's
trying to
all
get
sorts of
Photoshop
stuff.
open, and then it's just
It
just
seems like a
not having
L
a
you're
good
gonna
time.
have to take.
It is an L I'm
Why are
gonna
we
have
in
to take.
Photoshop?
I'm trying to get a graphic up for the YouTube because it's a shitty looking graphic right now. So apologies for that. But maybe Awood, you could just talk about this racetrack as we look over it right now.
Yeah, I can. So I can tell you guys that I tried to do about 5 laps on this track last night, and it really didn't go well at all. So you got a fun start that comes into a big like uphill sweeper top left of the track. You guys have probably seen this before, but they do make small changes year after year to this track. Where the ruts go, you know, how the braking bumps, all that stuff. And they try to update it if there were any small changes in real life. So going to very inside favored 2 turns off the start, I feel like. And then you get those jumping rollers where you can definitely have some guys make some passes down the hill, high speed section. A lot of back and forth kind of tight stuff early on in the track. But then once we get to the bottom of the screen, we got like a triple up the hill. And then we go down into the big giant quad that they have that we're definitely going to see people tossing some whips on. But it starts to open up on that back side of the track as we get to the right side of the screen that you guys are seeing. So you'll see some very fast downhill sections, people making some mistakes there. But then we go into the back and it opens up and it's a little bit faster, but still rutted. And there's going to be lots of mistakes. Then the 2 big downhill and uphill before the finish is going to be a really tricky spot for these guys when they're trying to push and make some passes, especially late in the race when the track breaks down.
Absolutely. So this is always a fun racetrack. The racing is always seemingly pretty good here as well. So let's not hold off any longer and let's maybe drop the gate here tonight at High Point. Get a quick overview of the track once more again right here. Do you like this updated version of High Point as well from what it used to look like? I don't know why my game is lagging so badly right now. Trying to figure this out here.
Hopefully the time is frozen at the top left. Is that the... I wonder if you toggle... You shouldn't have any offset because you're in... Yeah, it's tweaking.
Oh, do I have maybe my graphics turned too high? I have them cranked. Yeah, so we'll get there when it's time. We're going to get into a consi here.
This track I do like. I feel like it's gotten a little bit more rideable. I feel like the early versions... Was it Hagvist who made the first versions? He also made Hangtown. Maybe not, but... I feel like it's gotten a little bit more rideable. Not for me because I suck these days, but I feel like these guys have the opportunity to move around a little bit more usable lines. With the Erode, we kind of pre-build in some small ruts, and then those get deeper as the moto goes on, and these guys can kind of... There's some variability to where they can go inside or outside. So I do like it. It's pretty fun. I'm not a fan of off cambers though, so I hate about half of the turns on this track. Especially the really big downhill and then the steep uphill before the finish line. And I feel like that ends up being such a pivotable section in a lot of races. Pivotal.
There you
Pivotable.
go.
Just throwing in extra syllables. But
you're getting there.
yeah, it's tricky. It's rough. And I think we're going to see a lot of people going down just from this photo. You can see so many ruts and it's so scary. I
know, like the section, maybe corner 5 to 8 or 9 or so, it's just ruts. You're basically just in a long rut almost the whole way through them.
Yeah, and it used to be a lot more open. So I actually maybe I do like the old version because you could I don't like ruts. I don't really do well in them in real life either. Just give me a flat track and let me sweep some outsides and kind of pick where I want to go. I do think it's almost maybe getting to a point where there's a little bit too much, especially when it gets to where the erode comes in and everything just gets deeper and turns into walls. I do wish it kind of became like a more MXGP prep or what we see now in the Nationals and was a little bit more open and flowy and these guys can kind of cut in and out instead of being a little slot car-y. But there's a couple tracks that end up being that way.
Yeah, I mean, all these national tracks, like it seems like year after year, we just kind of rehash the same story. I feel like the Race Factory Gaming track crew has been better this year about creating more opportunities, more open lines, and also making it so that the track starts kind of rough and stays rough. I feel like if you remember maybe 2-3 years ago, we really started getting into road races. They would leave it flat, like super flat to start the motos, and then you would have those wall ruts develop. So certainly seems like there's been a few more options per round this year, and maybe going a little bit deeper with some of the ruts at this round was on purpose to make it so that there's that opportunity available for riders to look around a little bit. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think this is always the first track. It's like, oh, they're going back East Coast. High Point is where, riders in real life figure out their suspension and their setups suck because they've been riding smooth stuff. So I mean, it is cool to see it like that, but Lakewood also is really, really ruddy. But we actually did just talk last week. They were able to move around. So maybe it's by design. There's not many kind of flat spots where you can move around on this track. That's one thing I'm trying to do is at least get a little bit, maybe 10, 15 minutes in on each track, try different lines and just see the options before we do these races so I can see what's going on a little bit. But not as much room to move around as previous weeks, but
yeah. So I believe this is the 250 consolation race on 3 laps in, finally got into the server. So Tyler Nichols leads Jackson Vick in the 2 spot. Again, we saw him last week, I believe, in the Consi as well. Nick Niles, Caden Speck, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment. Brad Street Adams in the 5-6 spot with Harrison Gafford 7th. Jeff Giffen, Cody Wells, and Hunter Ash rounding out the top 10. Dalton Caudill right behind Hunter Ash. Only 4 riders go through out of this one, though. So if you are not in those front 4 positions, you are going to have a long evening of watching from the sidelines. And hopefully for their sake, they can get into the motos and make it happen. Tyler Nichols, though, controlling the point here, and this is our first kind of look at what this racetrack is going to race like. And honestly, the consolation races as well always kind of give us an opportunity to see some close quarters racing, because it's basically guys that were fractions of a second apart. And here we go, Jackson Vick going at it with Tyler Nichols for the race lead.
Yeah, we see Jackson Vick kind of held up a little bit there. Didn't really go for the full quad. It's a pretty big send on the 250s, but definitely doable depending on if you're whipping or not. And it's kind of a tricky spot. It's such a big jump. It makes it hard for those guys to whip. But, man, look at this inside out. Jackson Vick trying to make the move up the inside. Goes a little bit too far inside and hits that bail. But, yeah, I love the racing we get, especially on the bubble of these consies. It is so close, being such a short race, and these guys are so evenly matched normally that we get to see kind of how the racing is gonna turn out when we get to the real motos. But, man, Tyler Nichols getting a little bit of a gap here after that mistake from Vick.
Look at Tyler Nichols getting that gap established, as you said, up to the top of the hill, sliding into that corner, and then this dreaded long downhill big section to gain or lose time into this off-camber corner if you get it all the way right to the bottom of the hill. And both of those riders up front get it pretty well. Jackson Vick, a little slide out on corner exit right there. And Nick Niles trying to close that opportunity down. Dead-Eye Gary in chat wants us to look at Nick Niles' kit and see how things are going for him. Got the Underground RC, looks like it's a Triumph. The canvas stuff. Yeah, us at SYS Racing also got some sweet canvas stuff. Big shout out to, I think it's Freddie Carlson, who's always putting that stuff together. And Very good look here, no question about it, for Nick Niles. So
yeah, I like that gear, little bubblegum type colors. I love bright, like neon kind of type colors. So always pretty good. I think we have a set similar to that one too. All these guys are pretty fresh right here. These 3 in a row, just looking real good. Caden Speck looking like a real life star Yamaha rider too. Just a clean Thor setup, black, perfectly matches his bike. These guys, we might have some Lit Kit awards going to some consolation racers here.
Yeah, looks like our top 4 is pretty much decided too, because P5 Trent Adams went down and disconnected. Jeff Giffen is back here still trying his heart out. This is a weird mix. Well, maybe I don't have his helmet. No, I would have, because why have those goggles? But he's got a 6D helmet with Fox gear, Fox boots. Kind of a weird.
That's fine.
Yeah, I guess it goes together.
If
it's all
you're
right.
helmet only.
Yeah, like Bell with Fox, for example.
Showy, Arai, 6D, like you can go with anything, even if they make a boot, because so many people do. But it's the A-Stars one is the one that is like I'm iffy on, because you know they came out with it late in their gear. I don't know. That's a whole thing, because A-Stars boots go with everything. It's hard out here, you know. When you're going for lit kit type stuff, there's rules, and there's some weird rules to those. So there's don't question it. And if you tell me something different in chat, you're wrong.
All right, so Jackson Vick working his way up the hill, trying to bring this thing all the way to the checkered flag. Jumping down one more time, was able to take the lead away from Tyler Nichols on this final lap. And the JWTC hashtag Crizzy Cranked Gas is going to lead us up the hill one final time, scrub it over. Big uphill triple into the last turn complex here at High Point, and Jackson Vick is going to come through and take the 250 consolation race. Tyler Nichols second. Nick Niles is going to roll over the line in third.
Hell yeah.
And Caden Speck all by himself. Looks like he's on his way to P4. Jeff Giffen, Hunter Ash, Harrison Gafford, Dalton Caudill, Trent Adams, Cody Wells, Joey Bradstreet, Carson Bolin, and myself in warm-up also heading home early here tonight. And Jackson Vick gets it done. I'm going to go get my laptop, Awood, so it's over to you, sir.
Shout out to the boys for sticking it out in 5th and 6th place. 13 seconds back off of that transfer position. And Butters Ash back there as well. Jeff Giffen, those were the 2 that were just kind of a little bit further back. Everyone else pretty much quit. But that's kind of what you'll see in these consolation races. If you're not up front and you don't really have a chance to get in, you kind of just throw it away. And some of these guys have 2 or 3 crashes in the lap, and it's kind of a lost cause for you to keep racing. But really cool to see those guys kind of keep pushing around and try to get there, see if there was a mistake by the 4th place rider. But shout out to everyone who made it in, and Jackson Vick for taking that win. We will see him with a 37th gate pick going into 250 Moto 1. But first, we're going to have 450 Moto 0 consolation race coming up, and you'll see these consolations at certain rounds, and as we go throughout the series, maybe thin out a little bit, but there will still be people competing that miss out on that top 36 to get straight into the moto. So these guys still want to go in and get in there, because they're racing for points, and sometimes you just don't gel with the track. You might not have that much time on it, and it's fun to get a nice like last chance race to get in there and get qualified for the moto. So good on these guys for showing up and showing out in their consi, and excited to see what the 450 consi has going for us.
Yeah, so 450 consolation race coming up next, and that will be the same story. 4 laps, 4 riders going through to the main program, and you will want to stick around for that, because I think there's going to be a few more guys going to the line in this one than we saw just now in the 250 consolation race, which is always a good time to just kind of have a little bit more bikes on the track. Those last qualifying positions, certainly hot tickets up for grabs, as everyone doesn't want to go home early tonight, as we mentioned. And yeah, we'll see how things go. In fact, while I'm doing this, I'm going to pull this up and take a look at our lineup here tonight for the 450 consolation race. And we're going to do our first channel points betting game of the night and pick out some consolation race winners. If you weren't with us last week, this is we do predictions, and so Awood and I will pick out a couple people, ask you guys a question. You can bet channel points in the Twitch chat for these predictions. So with the consolation race coming up, Awood, you can kind of look at this as well for our running order: Austin Bear, Sonny Spicer, Jet Wisdom, Carl Novak, Tyler Blowers, JR Reyes, Jack Fowler, Eduardo Simos, Zach Fisher, Devers, Gilmore, George, you name it, they're in it.
McIntosh. Do you want to do a highest finisher in this one?
Okay, yeah, let's pick like 3 or 4 riders and who will finish the highest.
Yeah. I'm liking. I feel it's hard because there's people that get in and out different rounds, but I like myself. You can kind of pick through these with me. I like myself a JR Reyes, an Austin Bear, Sonny Spicer, Schaefer, maybe. Who else? We got Fowler, Wisdom. Who do we got? I like a Rogan McIntosh in there too.
Okay, so we're gonna do JR Reyes, Austin Bear, Sonny Spicer, and Rogan McIntosh for this one. We'll give you guys a minute. You can bet channel points and who will finish the highest in the 450 Consi.
It could be 6, could be the last person to quit, could be the winner. So just get out there and support some of the guys out here. We only got 1 minute going though. JR Reyes, Austin Bear, Sonny Spicer, and Rogan McIntosh. So you guys get out there. If you got channel points, you guys have 45 seconds left to throw some down and try to get some returns. And we'll be able to redeem these in the next week or two and get some fun stuff going on stream as well. So
yeah, let us know, by the way, in the chat what you guys would like for us to do as a reward for redeeming channel points. We'll probably set it at a pretty high channel point, whatever it is. But if you guys have one that you want us to do, let us know. We can't do any sort of like drinking games or anything like that. I guess it's against the terms of service policy for Twitch. But if you have ones that you would like to see for us to reward you guys for always being around, getting those channel points, betting them, and winning, we'd be more than happy to entertain a few of them for sure. So
there'll be a round or two where I just drink on my own. So you guys, there'll be drinking going on, but just not betting with your channel points. As far as rewards, see what we got here. Submissions are closed. 32% of you think JR Reyes, 47% Austin Bear, 2% long shot on Sonny Spicer, and Rogan McIntosh 19% right there. So we'll keep an eye on that as this race goes on and see who the highest finisher out of those 4 is.
Yeah, and there's only one person that even bet on Austin Bear, so they bet the whole kitchen sink 3,000 channel points to try to get
a 2-to-1 return.
Yeah, so 2-to-1 return if Austin Bear gets it. So here we go. We're taking a look at Austin Bear on the start here. 450 Consolation Race from High Point, ready and set to go. We're off and running. Land rush into the first turn. 4 riders already going down heavy into that first turn, and a couple guys pushing wide. J.R. Reyes on his CBR Kawasaki is going to come through with the whole shot. Liam Atkinson right behind him with Austin Schaefer moving into 3rd. Miles Gilmore around the outside is in 4th, trying to get past up the inside as Tucker Zimmerman slot a wheel in there real quick, but it is Reyes leading down the hill on the first lap.
Yeah, I think we might be washed with the names we picked, but some of those guys, it just helps they've been around for a while. They got some names, but J.R. Reyes also known to start hot and had a couple mistakes. Look at this going second rut right here, about to get passed around the outside. Not gonna happen, but you see, as Reyes goes down, gets kicked by the braking bumps, goes OTB. Another rider going down, he's getting passed by about 8 or 9 dudes, so he's gonna be way back off the start, and that's gonna allow Austin Schaefer to move up into the 2nd place position, as he's gonna be the first one to hit this giant quad right here. And a lot of these guys won't be throwing the biggest whips because there is a chance to double whip on those and land sideways. So playing it safe. It was a close start early on, but Schaefer is getting a little bit of a gap here, Kellen.
Yeah, Schaefer is opening up that gap very nicely, as you mentioned, as he jumps up to the back of the track here on the first lap. 2-second lead over Liam Atkinson, Miles Gilmore, and Sonny Spicer in your top 4 positions. Field already starting to spread out just a little bit as we work our way back into the center of the facility one final time before we get a full complete lap in. Atkinson starting to close that gap down slightly in 2nd. There's Spicer in 3rd, and Will now is in 4th now, as Blowers and Austin Bear are trying to close that gap down. 3,000 channel points wagered on Austin Bear, and he is down hard. Found the trampoline at the bottom of the hill, and right behind him, someone just did the exact same thing. That might have been Rogan McIntosh. No, it is Jet Wisdom.
Ah, dang. These guys just kind of going over the bars a lot. There's very rough, even early on in the race. There's a lot of braking bumps coming into these ruts. You'll see every corner has got about 4 to 5 ruts in it, but there's also some very high-speed sections into some big braking bumps. So these guys have to learn how to finesse those going into it, or just let their suspension do the work and get themselves into the corner cleanly. But look at this tight gap we got here.
Jeez.
4 riders here, 5 coming up the back. Rogan McIntosh trying to work his way through here. He's in the 6th place position, so no, he's not. Where is he at?
Rogan McIntosh in 10th right now. This
10th.
entire
We're way
group,
back.
Yeah, we are 10, 8, 9, and 7 or so right here. All these guys mixed it up. So let's reset it because one lap has been completed. Schaefer in the lead. Atkinson just made a mistake in P2 on the racetrack right there, so he spun it around. He's now into 4th. Tyler Blowers is closing the gap down. Sonny Spicer and Will now went by, and then Blowers lays it down at the bottom of the hill. So suddenly our 4-rider train at the front of this pack has got a nice little gap to work with. We'll go on board with Atkinson and see what it looks like.
Yeah, once you're when you got a little bit of breathing room, it helps. Oh, rider down and out of the lead.
That was Schaefer.
That was Schaefer in that red and yellow
Atkinson's
gear.
Now sideways.
Yeah, slides
and he just
out.
got hit by Schaefer. Schaefer runs into the side of him. So going by there is Fowler, Tucker Zimmerman. Schaefer's going to pick it up right there with Miles Gilmore moving by as well, and Rogan McIntosh in his rear view mirror. So a massive changeup. The leader goes from 1st to 8th in the span of about 20 seconds. Sonny Spicer now leads this race from Will now, Liam Atkinson, and then a tight battle for 4th. Jack Fowler dealing with heat. Tucker Zimmerman to the outside.
Oh.
Fowler puts him all the way to the top and off the track. There's nowhere left to go and almost runs into the back of him. We got a fight going on, and Schaefer, he's going off the inside of the track trying to cut the whole thing off. Fowler's all over the place, and Zimmerman lays it down trying not to hit him.
Yeah, look at this, man. They are trying to hold on. Gilmore was trying to make moves there as well. This 450 class, always a little bit tighter. There's just so much experience in these groups, and these guys are a little bit closer. Gilmore trying to send it to the outside here, trying to make a move, unable to make it. It's just so much further outside there. Schaefer coming up behind him as well in that red and yellow gear. You see these guys just battling tooth and nail, and someone's going to be sending it down this hill. I just know it. And look at all the guys behind him. Oh, Gilmore into the back.
Jesus,
oh my gosh.
Sailing.
Schaefer's now in the driver's seat. He's right there in 5th, right behind the spot you want to be. And who is that? Jack Fowler right behind him trying to make the move up.
Yeah,
that's Schaefer.
Schaefer made the pass because Fowler jumped to the right, and then Schaefer got stuck in the tough blocks. Now Blowers is trying to get around Jack Fowler. Jack Fowler riding a very wide machine right now on that Suzuki in 4th as Blowers is putting the heat on him, trying to close this gap down. We got 2 laps to go. Blowers on the inside, not going to make the move as Fowler around the outside makes it hard hitting to get that pass done, and not able to get it done just yet. There was Blowers. Here comes Jet Wisdom from that crash in the back all the way right into this fight for this transfer spot on his Nexus Triumph, and switching up his line. Tyler Blowers trying to pull up alongside. We got 3 riders going for 4th place coming down the hill, and Fowler almost goes down.
Yeah, man, I love the way Fowler's riding right here, riding a wide bike. Oh, he's jumping sideways. Didn't even look like he meant to do that. Looks like he's going to lose the spot to Tyler Blowers as he rails around the outside here. Oh, and he goes down trying to get to the inside of this. So rough there into such a tight corner, but Jet Wisdom has something to say about it too. He's going to push too hard, get a little bit of a kick there, and a little bit of breathing room as Schaefer is trying to make a pass around him, unable to get the triple there. I love the way these guys are riding. Ride a wide bike. If you're in the 4th place spot, look at that Schaefer going by 3 wide over this. Someone went down before the lip, and I think that was Schaefer cleaning out a wheel. This is all over the place, man. This is crazy right here. Just how evenly matched this 450 Consolation Race is.
Oh my goodness, they're trying to get a nose in everywhere and can't quite make it happen as Fowler still holds on to the final transfer spot. Schaefer and Wisdom in a dogfight right now, and Fowler goes down, hits his head on an inside tough block and lays it over. So now Jet Wisdom goes into the final transfer spot, and this fight that we saw happening for 5th place is now the fight for 4th, and it's only going to get better from here because it looks like Schaefer's chomping at the bit, trying this inside line. Not close enough yet, but the battle continues.
Yeah, Schaefer can kind of go tunnel vision here now. He's only got one person to deal with. You don't really go outside and expose yourself to a move up the inside or something like that. So you kind of control your own destiny being behind Jet Wisdom here. Just need to keep it close. The leader, Sonny Spicer, has a 6-second gap. Just checking out of this. Look at that mistake. Jet Wisdom goes down, loses the rear end. Oh, and that off camber turns into an uphill. He's going to lose 2 positions, and that's going to allow Austin Schaefer up into the final transfer spot. And Tyler Blowers is now in 5th place, just one out of the transfer spot as we move on to the last lap here.
Yeah, final lap has started here. White flag is waving. Sonny Spicer in cruise control out front, 4.5 seconds in the lead over over Liam Atkinson as they hit the Carmichael double at the top of the hill. Here is Schaefer now in third, actually, and Will now has found his way into fourth. So Will now dealing with heat from Tyler Blowers. We still got Jet Wisdom right there. Austin Bear just went 2:11.7. He's not too far behind these guys hitting the Carmichael double in the background. He wants to get into the action here on this final lap. Will now is trying to hold it off, and he's got a train of riders stacking up behind him.
Yeah, Will now's like, dude, I've been out of the drama this whole race. Just leave me alone and let me keep going. But he's got so much pressure coming up behind him. He's really got to push, because when you got two riders that close, you really can't just lay up and ride this thing home. Our leader, Sonny Spicer, is looking really good out front. And, man, these guys are actually way back off even the top two. This is pretty much the whole race right here. Who's going to get this final transfer spot? But right now, Will Now's doing a good job of holding on to it. Chasing Austin Schaefer, though, I think he would like one more position just for a small buffer here. But he's looking good so far. But, man, just like that, Tyler Blauer is getting a send down that hill and able to tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, this is going to come down to that final off-camber, I believe, before our second-to-last corner on the racetrack. Now is doing a great job of holding position and hitting his marks. But Tyler Blowers is pushing him tooth and nail to the checkered flag right now. Sonny Spicer looks like he is on his way to winning this race, but all eyes on this battle for the fourth and final transfer spot on this racetrack. Schaefer just up the road, goes off screen. Now a mistake, not able to get a good drive on this uphill, and that's going to allow Tyler Blowers right into the mix again. Blowers launching up to the top of the hill right there. And whoa, Will now launches down the hill, and he goes down. Why did he do that? What was the point? He didn't need to do that at all. As Spicer takes the win, Atkinson and Schaefer are going to go through. Blowers is going to be gifted the position.
I mean, that was sick. Maybe he's just not gelling with the track. He doesn't really want to race the motos. We have seen riders do that before. Pretty sure it's been done in real life, too. I've seen some senders doing that stuff. But, man, I don't know. Either just having fun or going crazy. Got his 3 seconds of fame on stream, though. Been there before. And but man, he's not going to make it through the Consi into the top 40 here tonight. Man, I guess I don't even want to say bummer for him, because he took himself out of it. But yeah, what a way to go.
That is such a weird sequence right there. I just don't understand the move if you're in a transfer spot trying to hold on to it on the final lap and you go for the send. But all the respect to him for giving it a shot. A couple other riders still trying to finish off their race right now. A lot of guys did not finish this one. 19 started and 15 are going home early here tonight. As right now it is Blowers, Schaefer, and Atkinson, along with our race winner Sonny Spicer, that are going through to the motos. We'll see if it stays that way. Should do. 3.1 second gap for Blowers, and can't imagine the cuts were too much bigger than that. Everyone seemed to stay on the track quite well. So we'll wait for those penalties to come in, divvy up our channel points rewards here, and pick out the winner here, Sonny Spicer, which we believe will be confirmed in just a moment. I was thinking a couple rewards we could give out, and I don't know how much channel points we want to do for this. But we could maybe do something, Awood, where we do like, we'll call a race as if we're Ralph and Jeff for 3 minutes, or call a race in the Supercross announcer's voice for 3 minutes.
You got the voice. I'm so bad at like impressions, though. I mean, I feel like that would be good. Every time we throw it to you, you try to be Ralph or the Monster Energy Supercross guy. But I mean, yeah, different things, and I feel like they're pretty easy to like add in different ones, right? So we could throw one out, even let it happen once or twice, you know. But yeah, I don't know how good I'm gonna be with the impressions. I don't know. I feel like we need some people in chat to kind of throw out some fun ideas that they would think would be good for us to do.
Yeah, like if you were gonna drop, let's say you're gonna drop, how long does it take to gain maybe 5,000 channel points?
I mean, if you win a good bet, not that long. But
yeah,
I'm always in chat reading it, and I got I get 60 from being in here for 15, 20 minutes. It's like,
so what would you drop 5,000 channel points on, or what would you drop 10,000 channel points on?
Something big. I only had 10K when we started this, so that's got to be a huge reward.
We had people last week that bet and won 27,000 channel points, for example. That's the whole point, is trying to get you guys to get involved in the channel point soiree, and have a little bit more fun with that. So
I like, let's see what it costs to just, if you just want to highlight your own message, it's got to be, dang, that's cheap actually.
Justin Bradley says just do RC and stumble on words and mispronounce everyone's names. You could try to top mess up as much as RC does, there's a challenge for you. Announce like RC and do ridiculous commentating with horrible predictions mid-race.
Dude, hey, he's got some of the
Apparently
best.
everyone does not like RC. Golf commentator voice. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah, we could just whisper for like a couple
and hitting
minutes.
that inside line right there is Alexis Leclerc. Nice move out of the 7.
Oh, he's just going to blow that corner right there. Is Sonny Spicer. Yeah, I mean, that would fun baseball commentator. If not, I mean, that would be pretty good. You could definitely do some...
So let's do
some Bob Ross type stuff. I mean, you could always just do like special commentator voice and they can request or something. And like, you know, I don't know. We do it for a minute or two. What else? What could we do? Who's Mike Breen? Colin, you got high ceilings? Creed higher. I don't know. Anyone on YouTube right now, we've got channel points that you earn being on Twitch, and we've got some things where people can bet points against each other, just wager them for some little things and earn some points. Then get them if they win. Dominic, is that Tiberino too?
Could be.
Tuberino.
I've added golf commentator announcing for 3 minutes to one of the rewards that you can redeem for 10,000 points though. So if anybody wants it tonight, that's what you could take it and you could run with it. I feel like someone's going to redeem that like right now, and we're just going to have to do it
off the start.
Talking the most southern accent possible. These are all good ideas. I'll definitely have to
I'm just really bad at accents.
That's the whole point, Awood. They want to hear how ridiculous it is.
That's
look at Casanova right away. Redeemed golf commentator announcing for 3 minutes. Love it. Okay, so first 250 Moto, we're doing golf commentator announcing. We're going straight into it.
All right. Well, since I'm the analyst, you got to throw it to me. I'm Dottie. I'm going to be green side, and I'm going to be giving a read on what these guys got going on.
All right. We need a Design Lab Co. whole shot pick, though, Awood. Go through the order here.
Design Lab Co. whole shot pick is going to be... I'm still looking. You know what? Seth Carr's been a good starter. He did there's some weird stuff going on early on. I feel like Seth Carr, we got to throw in there. I mean, you don't get the red plate and win races without being a good starter there. Who do you got? I'm going
to pick Logan Leitzel. I'm also going to add Cade Matherly to the list.
Okay. Yeah, that's our top 3 in the championship.
And
so
then we'll do an other and give you guys a minute to pick.
Yeah.
Start our prediction. All right, Design Lab Co. bringing the goods. Nick Porter always having some great stuff that you guys can check out at thedesignlabco.com. They give us our whole shot winner here tonight in 250 Moto 1. We will call it as golf commentators when we load back in for 3 minutes. Thanks to Casanova for redeeming 10,000 channel points for that. So this is going to be really interesting to hear how this sounds. And we're going to go racing for 250 Moto 1 here at High Point in just a moment.
God, we got to do it till freaking 27 minutes on the clock. Or 3 minutes, I guess it counts up. 27 for the guys counting. Does it count down or up, the timer you have on the screen?
On the screen, it counts down,
up.
but in the server, it counts up.
Yeah.
It's kind of backwards, but
it's all right.
All right, we're getting those bets rolling in. A lot of people picking other. We got
let me get in
over
here.
11,000 channel points going to someone other than Seth Carr, Logan Leitzel, or Cade Matherly. So even if you just pick those guys, you drop a cheeky little bet right now on Seth Carr, 34-1 odds right now. You could be rolling out of here with some big channel points as we've got a lot of people rolling in the bets. Almost loaded in here for 250 Moto 1 at High Point. And yeah, looks like we have now completed that countdown. 77% of you think someone other than Seth Carr, Logan Leitzel, or Cade Matherly will get the Design Lab Co. whole shot here tonight. 13% believe Matherly's got it. 6% think it's Logan Leitzel, and only 4% think it's Seth Carr, who I believe whole shot our first moto last week at Thunder Valley. So we'll see if Carr can prove a lot of people wrong and get to that first turn first here at High Point.
Hello and welcome to the Country Club of Motocross, coming to you from round 4 at High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. We're going to go down to Kellen Brower, who is on the starting line, going to get you guys a read on what we got going down on over there.
Well, the racetrack here tonight at High Point, it's a lovely racetrack here. Great dirt, great soil, a lot of great opportunities for people to lay into this one, and you might even get a slice or a wedge cut up underneath someone by getting through a rut nicely on the inside. So we'll see whether or not Cade Matherly can maybe make amends from a couple bad starts last week, make some good opportunities, maybe scrub his way into the lead and check out here in 250 Moto number 1. Back to you, Andrew.
Pretty good, Kellen. I like the predictions you got going on. You got Cade Matherly here on the start right now, but I honestly think that Seth Carr's got a really good chance of putting it inside Cade Matherly as they go into the first corner here. He's been getting some good jumps lately, and I really just I think that he's been putting him close, and he'll be putting himself right up front there as we get on, and we're about to drop the gate here as we go into the start of 250 Moto 1 here at High Point.
Absolutely. Everyone's going to lock those Hinson clutches down tight, click it down into second gear, and away we will go here in 250 Moto number 1 here at High Point. 30 minutes on the clock plus 2 laps, and we will have ourselves a Moto winner from the first Moto of 2 in the 250 class at High Point. Who's going to get the all-important Design Lab Co-hole shot at 30 car to sideways? And they're all going to take a big swing at turn number 1. The gate is down, launching off the gate. Looks like the 23 into turn number 1 first. Let's see if he comes through. He slides down, and Joey Carter is going to grab the Design Lab Co. whole shot on his Dr. Do Racing gas, putting together great reels on the Instagram every single day and ripping hole shots. That's what Joey Carter's known for out here.
Yeah, Joey Carter just got a great jump out of that gate there. Really able to put it on the field there. He's starting to give himself a little bit of gap. That's what you want early on a Saturday. Saturday also known as moving day, and Joey Carter trying to move himself up a little bit away from the field here and just really extend the points lead. But we got some fast riders coming up behind him. Hayden Stevenson and Braden Tharp really putting a charge on the last couple holes here as they kind of tighten this thing up. Joey Carter goes down though, guys, and that's a big miss for him. Really just can't have a miss that big early on in the round here.
You hate to see that, you know. He got stuck in the bunker right there, and you could see it just kind of spin around a little bit too quick on him. A shame, really, because he was having a great drive right there, maybe 230, 240 yards down the fairway before it went really awry for him on that second shot. So Braden Tharp going to take the advantage here. He's looking to birdie this one out by the end of the first lap, and his Panini Motorsports Fantic is going to rip his way up the hill here in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Beautiful landscapes in the background as Jeff Cooper absolutely lays it down on the ground. A shame for him, and he's going to get rear-ended from behind and go down once again.
Sorry. Got me good. Braden Tharp out front, you know, he moved on to that Panini Motorsports Fantic, and this is only the 4th round that he's played with this new equipment here. When you're changing brands, you really got to settle in and really figure out just how it's going to work for you. Missed a lot of cuts lately, and he's really just trying to just keep himself in contention coming into the weekend, because he's just, you know, he's really been starting off early in these rounds, but then just kind of throwing it away and fading back into the rest of the field. So we got to watch out for Braden Tharp. I think this could be a really big weekend for him as he goes ahead here. And we are moving closer to that 3-minute timer here. Braden Tharp, though, having a nice sizable 4-second lead over the rest of the field.
Yeah, this is just a lovely look from Tharp out front. I mean, exactly what you want to do. You just take a nice backswing right there, power through off the start, use that Hinson clutch to your advantage when you drop it off, and you just feather that clutch out, get a great start. Maybe slide it down into turn 1 a little bit if you're Tharp, but otherwise a terrific hole shot, and so far working his way through in the race lead. Lucas Brun coming to us all the way from Germany. TSCZ Productions 43 ride has moved his way into second place early in this one, and a terrific ride for him as well. Luke Sullivan right there, and bam, we're back, people. Thank you guys for tuning into the ASMR Golf channel here on Start Your Systems TV. Braden Tharp is leading this race. Apologies that the timer is off because I accidentally hit the 250 main event timer from Supercross instead of the 250 Moto timer from Motocross. So we're back. Alec Horn, Cade Matherly in the 4th spot, and Jack Gatlin rounding out the top 5. Terrific stuff here to start off this moto, and it's only going to get better from here because some heavy hitters are buried in the field and they got some work to do.
Yeah, these guys, I don't think we're kind of 50-50 on the guys liking the golf chat. 3 minutes might have been a little bit too long, especially since we started before the gate drop, but I loved it there. Man, you got some good references in there that made me laugh and threw me off a little bit. But man, this is a pretty surprising little group we got here up front. Right now we're watching Jack Gatlin, who's crushing it in 5th right now, chasing down Cade Matherly. But if we look back in the field...
Oh, Jack Gatlin down. OJ's to flat.
Hard.
Not the way you want it to go. By the way, we do see...
Where the hell is everyone?
Todd Gutierrez over here redeeming 10,000 more channel points. We'll wait till 20 minutes are left to go in this moto before we do that. We're not going to do it every single minute of this moto, but we'll get back to it in a minute.
And maybe we'll switch up the commentary to something else.
Oh my gosh! Now Brock W. I'm going to up the channel points price at this point, guys. This is a little much. I thought 10,000 would be too much, and I realized you guys were all avid listeners that you have 10,000 to redeem.
50,000 channel points. I just won't talk for a moto. That's gonna get redeemed instantly.
Yeah, everyone would redeem that instantly, but we haven't done it yet. All right, we'll get back to the golf talk in 5 minutes time. 5 minutes time from now, we will do more golf chatting, and we'll come at you from the Augusta National here at High Point.
We'll think of something. You know, guys, I watched probably about 15 hours of golf every weekend. Like, I'm a big golf guy, and maybe probably more than that on like major weeks. So really excited for this upcoming weekend. Be at the river and watching golf as well as dirt bikes. But they don't always talk quiet, by the way. But I guess if we're gonna do it differently, we're gonna talk quiet. It's when they throw it down to the person that's green side and they gotta sit there and talk quietly and be a good patron, and just not talk loud. So I was trying to throw it a little bit differently, and then the people were like, "Oh, you're too loud." So whatever. Haters.
My experience, all I'm really like, I watch golf, but I was just thinking in my mind over and over again the Tiger Woods hole-in-one shot from the AZ Open or whatever it's called from 1996, where they go, "Oh, it's just a nice, comfortable 9-iron for him."
Yeah.
So that's what I was leaning on, but. Either way, let's talk about this moto action battle before we get there. We have about 24 minutes left to go in this moto. I'll try to keep you guys as updated on the time as I can and try to not make the timer mistake in the second moto. But Lucas Brune is having a duel with Cade Matherly for second. Matherly, of all the title contenders, is off to the best start.
He
and
sent
he's going to make that pass up into second place with a nice move. Logan Leitzel is in 33rd place, and the 15 machine. Where is the 15
Carr, he's
machine?
right,
21st place for Seth Carr. So this is a huge opportunity right now for Cade Matherly to make some serious damage in the championship and try to get this red plate stolen back away in his favor here tonight at High Point. Up in second place early on in Moto 1.
Yeah, we're only 6 minutes in right now, but I think it was 12 points back to third, and Cade, I think, was 9 points back in second. So if things stay this way, he's going to have an easy seal of the red plate, just getting so many points over his contenders. Obviously, we have 23 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this race, but Cade Matherly doing exactly what he needs to do to become champion. Go out there. If you're in a close title spot, get yourself good starts consistently, and that's what he's been doing recently. He's had 1 or 2 rough rounds, but able to pull it up close enough to not lose too many points, but you really can't be seeing yourself that far back outside the top 20 or the top 30 if you're talking about Logan Leitzel way back there. So Cade Matherly trying to make a statement right here at 250 Moto 1 at High Point. Just absolutely crushing it right now. But Braden Tharp, only 2.5 second lead out front in front of Cade Matherly here as we're watching. And looks like Lucas Brune just went down behind him. So coming up in the third place is going to be Ollie Cruz, followed by Heilman, Parlow, Snyder, and then Lucas Brune fell back to 7th place. We'll get some updates on those guys in just a minute. Right now, we're still keeping an eye on Cade Matherly as he tries to chase down Braden Tharp. He's made this gap all the way down to 2.2 as you see a couple shots here. We see Braden Tharp that he's chasing out front. Cade Matherly, though, a man on a mission. He had the fastest lap of the race last lap around. Let's see if he can do it again, and it looks like he's probably the fastest man on the track. Even seeing him miss that inside rut right there, still able to keep gaining up on Cade now, or on Braden. Now it's down to a 2-second gap.
Yeah, 2-second gap right now. 2:08.3, like you said last time by for Cade Matherly, fastest on the racetrack. So we are going to have a battle for the lead here before long. Before we do that, like I said, we will do the golf commentator's voice. I will say to either Tej or Brock W, who cast a vote, would you like to change, and I'm going to offer this once, would you like to change it from us doing a golf commentator voice to us doing the Supercross announcer voice? I know you say you can't do it, Awood, but I would happily do
that
it.
guy. I just can't pretend to be like Ricky or Ralph. I don't really know how to do that besides saying like ridiculous stuff if you're Ralph.
So we have 6 minutes of golf commentator voice, but if either of them want to change, we will do the other 3 minutes as the Supercross commentator voice. So Todd or Brock W, let us know, and we'll see what you guys say. Meanwhile, battle for the lead is brewing, and Braden Tharp is going at it with Cade Matherly at the front of the field. Todd wants NASCAR commentators. Oh, I think we could do that. We could do that.
Even what they do they just scream the whole time?
Yeah, kind of. Southern voice a little bit too.
I'm just so bad. I need to listen to like a country song and get myself dialed in. I feel like I could sing better in an accent than I can.
Country breakfast.
Country. Texas. 3 wide, NASCAR, roll tide, bottom, keep digging. That was a spotter.
Yeah. So it's either the deep SX voice or Todd wants us to do the NASCAR voice, but we will do the golf commentator voice, I guess, at one point. We're going to call this battle of the lead, though, in just a minute and see how it all shakes down. And see if anybody wants to change that up. Tharp versus Matherly at the front of the field. Matherly laid in a 207.304 last time by, and he is absolutely cooking up to Braden Tharp in a battle for the race lead right now. NASCAR one is what Brock wants. So we'll do 3 minutes of golf, 3 minutes of NASCAR. I think we're going to have to pin to the NASCAR one first because this battle for the lead is hyped. You ready for this?
I think he said no to the NASCAR one for him.
Not to the NASCAR one for me. So he doesn't want the NASCAR one, but Todd wants the NASCAR one. So
all right.
I guess we're doing 3 minutes of golf commentator and 3 minutes of this.
We might have to just do it until we run out.
Well, you tell me. Do we want to
Todd.
start?
We can cut him
do
short.
we want to start off with NASCAR?
Yeah,
or golf?
let's do NASCAR.
All right, it's NASCAR time down here at High Point Raceway. Look at Braden Tharp. He is going to be hounded right now. Cade Matherly, he's going to have to deal some pressure right here from behind. Going to have to listen to his spotter and hear what's going on in the headsets right now and see if he can't figure out a way to make this pass here on our race leader, Braden Tharp. Going to have to reach up there, pull those belts tight one more time and get us battle going for the race lead.
I got nothing. You're so good at it. I got nothing. I mean, let's see. Cade Matherly right now coming in, trying to come up behind Braden Tharp, see if he can get some of that drag right behind him. Or, wait, what's it called? Draft. He's trying to catch a draft behind him. But what's the side draft? See, I don't know, dude. I don't got anything going. But Braden Tharp, he's pulling away. He's losing that lead. If we can get on the first-person camera right here, Cade Matherly, let's see what he's got going on. We'll see him pushing into these corners. He's going real fast and real left right now. What is this? He's going right?
He's going left?
I don't know what this is.
This ain't no racing
What's
NASCAR.
This ain't NASCAR?
We're going right. They're making left turns. They're making right turns. They're going all over the place, man. They're raising hell and praising Dale out here at High Point Raceway with Cade Matherly trying to close this gap down on our race leader, Braden Tharp. And you can tell they got the bit between their teeth, man. They are absolutely hauling the mail in these motorcycles right now, getting after it, going for it, and putting the gap and a hurting on the rest of the field. This is the type of battles we like to see out here in AMA Pro Motocross Racing and MX Simulator. You like it, we like it. We're giving it to you. High intensity action here at High Point Raceway.
Yeah, I'm out. You can keep doing it, though. Cade Matherly, I'll just throw it back to you. I can't do it, dude. You're unreal at it. Cade Matherly right now chasing down. Look at this 1.2 second gap here as I'll go back down to my Southern colleague in just a minute, and he gets back on there with some action. Down underneath a second for the first time this race. Cade Matherly coming down this downhill. You'll see in this first-person cam just how rough it is coming into this off-camber here. These guys electing. Let's see, Matherly's going to the second rut. Tharp going all the way to the outside there. Matherly has the preferred line, though. Going to be able to get the drive up this big triple here, and look at how close these guys are. Let me throw it over to my colleague, Kellen Brower.
Yeah, and we are going back to our golf commentator action now. We have got 3 minutes done, 3 minutes of this left to go. Thank you to Brock W for that lovely, lovely donation sent our way via channel points. So Braden Tharp continues to lead the race, and I'll tell you what, Andrew Wood, this is exactly what he wants to see out here. Clean racetrack, no one in front of him as well. Gives him a great opportunity to look down the fairway and call a shot.
Yeah, I know. I think he's just gonna just going to take a nice solid approach here. Just try to find this fairway and not really push too hard. He just needs to kind of play it safe. When you're out front, you got to lead. I know that we've seen Cade Madley push up just a little bit here, but Braden Tharp just needs to play it safe and hold on to this thing. We're not even halfway into this, but I think if you blow a lead this early in the round, it's going to be just devastating for him. So Braden Tharp just trying to hold on to it. But, man, Cade Madley right behind him is coming with a birdie stretch, and he seems like he wants to take over the lead.
Yeah, I feel like Cade Madley here, if you're looking at this opportunity, you just have to keep consistently nailing your shots, hitting the drives that you want, and, if you see an opportunity, take it. Tharp is starting to struggle a little bit in the latter half of this race, in the back nine of this racetrack right now, and dealing with a lot of pressure from the pressure that is being put on by Cade Madley. And Madley's done a great job of just making Tharp work for it, man. He is not giving him any side bets here. He's just letting him slide back into his clutches and really giving him an effort for this race lead.
Well, you're going somewhere else there, Cal. Cade Madley here just really
Why
smooth.
are you getting quieter? You can speak loudly, but just whisper.
I don't have a A-Wood whisper time. I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry, Kellen. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to carry on. I think I might lose my job at NBC and Golf Channel here. Coming into a major, I've just really too much pressure on me. Braden Tharp with a huge mistake there. Cade Madley trying to take advantage of it. Braden Tharp has been smooth and steady, just really going strong, not really going crazy, but Madley has just had some blow-up holes, but then also just been crushing it. And look at this, trying to make a move up the inside, and he shoots that wedge shot just right inside of him, a little bit tighter, just unable to make the putt and take the lead from him right now. But this is going to be close all the way down to the stretch.
Oh my, what a beautiful shot there that Madley took. It didn't quite work out in his favor, just sliced it a little bit, narrowly missed the trees that are Braden Tharp as he slid up alongside of him. But you can see, once again, Madley, he's thinking about taking that drive down the inside. It didn't quite work, but it might work right here. Another opportunity to slide down the inside into the race lead. Let's see if he can get it done. Not quite done just yet. They're still side by side, and you can just feel the tension between the two of them. I'll tell you what, this is exactly what we want to see here in Pro Motocross Racing and MX Simulator, and Madley is making Braden Tharp really work to get this trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah, Tharp is doing a great job of holding him off right here under all the pressure he's getting down this back stretch right now, but he has been kind of cutting him off just a little bit and making all the right shots when he needs to. Making Madley work for it. Madley's back there saying, how am I supposed to chip with this going on, Doug? And just unable to get it to happen. So shout out to all my Caddyshack fans out there. And,
all right. We are back because that is 3 minutes done and dusted. We called the action like golf commentators twice and like NASCAR commentators here tonight. So we're going to can that for a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll do something else. And we'll come up with some different ones for the second moto. But that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for all the channel points. This battle, though, is just relentless. I can't believe that we haven't seen a real pass yet for the lead from Cade Madley. He's been right alongside Tharp, 4 or 5 different times just in this lap alone. Still hasn't gotten it done, but they're still just absolutely ripping 23 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have completely checked out over the rest of the field, and it's been a really impressive ride by both of them. Madley was able to get that gap up as they go down a lap rider right there. He was able to cut the gap down from almost 3 seconds down to it's been under 1 for pretty much the last lap and a half, but Braden Tharp has fought off some pretty close attempts right here by Cade. He was a little bit faster in this section. The next couple sections this side of the track, last lap around, so we'll see if Madley can get up alongside him, and I think if he gets up alongside him again, he's going to be able to make the pass. Look at this, coming down the hill. He's able to close it in just over 0.4 seconds here as Madley is going to try to just take a different line in one of these downhill sections and blow by Braden, because Braden has cut him off every time and kind of nullified his charges that he's got going on. But man, just as I say that, Madley kind of loses the pace just a little bit, a couple mistakes. And Tharp has had a very, very impressive ride here, Kellen, holding off all the attacks that we've seen Cade put on him right now. But look at the different line choice, very inside to very outside. I just love the different choices that we're getting from these guys right here.
Someone saying that our ASMR is Diddy mode is crazy. I'm gonna need you to back off of the keyboard after saying that.
Out of here, no Diddy.
This is unreal, though. All right, battle for the lead is just continuing to rage on. And like I said, these guys 24 seconds up on John Heilman. Still not a lot of amends through the field for Seth Carr, our championship leader. He is in 20th place, and this is going to be a massive swing in the championship point standings. Matherly wants to win this moto at all costs, regardless of which. And he has done a great job of pushing Braden Tharp lap after lap, and now Tharp has upped his game, dipping back into the 208s. They're both in the 208s now. Only riders that low in the timesheets right now. Heilman went 209.3 last time by. It was his personal best, but these guys are in the 206s for their best laps, and they're just pushing each other as the pace continues to rise. What I'm noticing out of Matherly is that he is just not following anywhere, man. He's taking different lines anywhere he can possibly find it. Obviously, main line right there, inside, and Tharp goes down into the finish line jump. Oh no! He hit a lapped rider and lands on his head and goes down, and then the lapper runs him over again.
Yeah, really, it wasn't enough of messing up the race. Had to go get back into it again. That's the first big mistake we've seen from Braden Tharp this moto. He's just looked very smooth and consistent out front, and was just, maybe didn't have the pace that Cade had, but he was able to hold him off that whole time for 19 minutes and just finally, it's hard when you're riding out there getting up into lappers, and man, I feel like his feathers are a little bit ruffled right now, but Braden Tharp, it looks like he got up with a little bit of fire to him, so this could go either two ways. You've got a 6.5 second gap back up to Cade Matherly. He can either close it back in and realize that his pace wasn't high enough and he's going to push it, or he can over push it and make a mistake, as we see him just miss that inside rut right there. I honestly think it's going to be in his best interest to just kind of settle back into a comfortable pace. He's only 11 seconds back right now. If anything happens to Cade, he'll be back up in that lead battle there. And worst case scenario, you get a second, you go out, you try to do the same thing, and you get a 2-1 for a win. And the overall that score can't be beaten. So Braden Tharp with a very impressive ride so far. A couple small mistakes in the last half a lap or so, but I really hope he can settle back down and get back into this thing.
Yeah, Tharp is going to try to regroup here and make something happen. Matherly now leading 21 by 9.5 seconds, and we are 21 minutes into the moto. We have 9 minutes and 2 laps left to go, so still plenty of time. Let's go through the field a little bit and kind of talk about some stuff. John Heilman has quietly put in a really good ride in third place. He is 10 seconds up on the next rider, and yeah, just clicking off good lap times, not doing anything crazy, and on his way maybe to a podium in this moto. Maverick Snyder, I feel like this is
hot last week.
Another week of Maverick Snyder just continuing to impress, crush it inside the top 5 on a continuous basis on his Takatoji Yamaha, and yeah, the 332 ride in P4 right now. Austin Partolo, after a horrible Thunder Valley, regrouping back to what we saw out of him at Hangtown, running in the 5 spot right now in Spinini Motorsports Fantic. Ollie Cruz on the Digital Worldwide program here in P6 on his 855 ride. Good ride for him. Tyler Show, Spencer Turley Racing Team in 7th. Luke Sullivan has made it up to 8th on the TSCZ Productions Fantic. Logan Leitzel is in 9th on his Yogi Designs Yamaha, and Jeremy Seabolt right behind him in 10th on the Panini Motorsports Fantic. So these two former champions battling it out. Want to go all the way back to this position right here. Our championship leader, Seth Carr, is still in 19th place, just made a pass. And this is about as bad as it can go when you're the championship leader. I mean, I know, DNFing a race is one thing, but being this deep into the moto and still barely scratching points, you got to be kicking yourself.
What is more shocking to you, and I have my answer by a long shot, but is it the fact that we had Leitzel go from like 35th up to 9th and just continuing to move forward, or the fact that Seth Carr just hasn't been able to do it? We checked in with him 15 minutes ago, and he was in 21st place. Now we're checking in with him, and he's in 20th place. So it's only moved up 18th place, but still, it's like so deep into a moto. It's just, to me, it's Seth Carr. I'm gonna give you my answer because I'm gonna let you go off. I think it's crazy, and I want to let you swallow. Pause.
Okay, dude, stop. Just because I'm chewing food over here, you don't need to say that.
Kellen's eating. We're eating dinner right now. Might be.
You're trying to get on SMX.
I
It's
wasn't
ridiculous.
trying to. I'm gonna let you eat.
Okay,
I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let me talk about this now because, yeah, I'm very surprised to not see Seth Carr coming through the field a little bit better. The first 3 rounds, he has done a tremendous job of limiting damage. I think it was Hangtown that he started well down the order and made it all the way to 2nd or 3rd or something like that. So he had a great charge there. It's just not working out today for him. I don't know if it's just not gelling with the racetrack. The lap times aren't coming together well. Whatever it is, it's not gone his way, and this is massive for the championship because, yeah, it's one thing to finish 9th in a moto, something like that, but if Matherly's going to win this and he's going to lose 23, 25 potentially points, that's a huge swing in the championship.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is one of those, this is like a statement ride by Cade Matherly, but this is just a thing that you cannot let happen if you're Seth Carr. We see him behind the big group right here, and he's going to move himself further up in the points. I honestly think how far he gets up, the 2 things we need to look out for, is he gets into another rider. Does still make a pass or 2 right there, but it needs to be how far up does he get in this moto and what can he do in the second moto. If he goes out and he gets a podium in the second moto, I think there's not too much to worry about, especially because he has made this late charge and he's moving up closer to the top 10 as he moves up into 14th place right now. But this is exactly what you cannot have happen. And if you want to win championships, you can't have a bad race like this. This is worse than, I don't think he's been crashing out, making his own mistakes. I think it was a bad start getting into other riders, and then it just kind of boils over. But man, limiting this early in the season is huge right now, because I think if you give Cade Matherly any points lead and any confidence, he's just going to try to check out and get away from you in this championship fight.
Yeah, so Seth Carr has got to do as much damage control as he possibly can right now. 14th place, like you said, in the closing stages of this one. We have 5 minutes left to go in this race plus 2 laps, and he does fortunately still have a handful of guys that are right in front of him, maybe about 4 seconds up to 12th, but then it's a big gap up to 11th and beyond, so he's got to just make as much passes as he can and limit the damage, as we mentioned. Let's get back up to the lead battle because it has changed. Braden Tharp has retaken over the race lead. Cade Matherly warmed up his arm and threw this thing away at some point on the racetrack, and now he's got to go back to work. We are back right to what we saw maybe about 10 minutes into the moto, but this time we're 26 minutes into the moto, and Matherly's got some work to do. He's being blocked badly by a lapper right there, but finally able to get by.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close between these two right here, and I think it's just impressive to show that Braden Tharp was able to go through 19 minutes of this race and go down and then go into a lapper. He could have just kind of settled for second place, and he went and he charged back up and was able to retake it. It's just some very good finishing by him. I like the fact that he's able to just kind of put his head down. 26 minutes into this race, 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and just to be able to have that ability to kind of settle back down and push back in the lead is really impressive by Braden, especially because I feel like we've seen him up front before go down and get kind of broken. This is the first time I think we've seen him rebound how he is right now.
Yeah, ooh, swapping down the hill and off the track, though. Got to be careful with those mistakes, because if you go on a tough block, you could easily just go down right away and lose all of your progress. 220.062 last time by for Cade Matherly. 2.8 second disadvantage right now to our race leader. By the way, change for third has occurred. Austin Partillo got around John Heilman and is making good progress forward into third place now. So definitely much more like the Partillo we saw at Hangtown. Not too sure what was off for him at Thunder Valley, but 29 seconds behind our lead battle is this one, and it was a good one between Heilman and Partillo. Heilman losing that position now back to fourth. There is Maverick Snyder, and then Ollie Cruz trying to work around a lapped rider still in sixth. Leitzel is charged to seventh, Sullivan eighth, Seabolt ninth, and Show in 10th. Cooper 11th, Nerona in 12th, and there is Seth Carr now trying to make a move into P12 on Ben Nerona. Well, actually, it's going to be 11th because Jeff Cooper just went down. So now look at Seth Carr all the way up to P12 working on 11th, and he might even get it done here. Not quite, but that was a good attempt.
Yeah, I think if he gets inside the top 10, maybe if he gets up to like 8th, it's honestly a huge recovery, and he's just really going to have to get a good start when we come into the second race here on the day. And just make sure that he puts in some good early laps and he's not making his own mistakes and putting himself at that far of a disadvantage, because I can't see the lap times from over here, Kellen, but you'll be able to let me know how close he's running to what Braden Tharp, Matherly and those guys up front are, because I think he has the speed. He just put himself at too much of a disadvantage, went down. We saw him get into a competitor a couple laps ago when we were watching. It's when you're following so many guys, one of them's going to go down in the rut and you just can't avoid it. So getting a good start is so paramount in getting a good finish in these races in the outdoors. I know you have 35 minutes of racing to do it, but I mean, coming from behind and not being able to make it all the way up to the front is huge, especially when you're in a point series, and that these three have been so close so far in this series.
Right. So last time by, he ran a 209.757. He was the only person under a 210 last time through. So he's certainly starting to cook late in this race. He's got 7 seconds to make up to get into the top 10. We'll see if he can get to Tyler's show before this race is over. Time has almost expired. We got a minute left on the clock plus 2 laps. And let's get back to our lead battle, because it is still just at that 2-second mark between Tharp and Matherly. I feel like Matherly is back on the charge once again. 2:11.1 last time by, was a little bit slower than what Tharp had put down, but it almost seems like Matherly through the first half of this lap alone looks like he's got it figured out once again.
Yeah, I mean, Cade just feels like he goes on these little tears and he knows when to push and kind of puts the charge on. We saw him kind of sit back for a little bit. Maybe he was trying to figure it out, and then he started pushing and just gelling with the track a little bit. And right now he's on the move. So 2:06.8 is his best lap time. He only had a 2:11 last time around. This track is slowing down. The leader was at a 2:10, but I think right now we're going to see him drop around the 2:10 or a 2:11 here, as he is on the move trying to make it happen. The timer right now, we're about to hit 30 minutes. And just like that, we're at 30 minutes into this race. So as they come around, as Matherly sends it, that's huge, jumping off that single there, getting close. It's only going to be 2 laps left for Matherly to make a move, and this is going to be huge. Almost gets into that bale coming down the hill right there, Kellen.
Yeah, he is pushing the pace right now, making Tharp work for this again. It is a rerun of what we saw early in this moto, and we're going to see this fight go all the way to the bitter end. This time, Tharp not trying to take that massive inside rut, and it kind of worked out evenly. But if you're Tharp, they're a little ballsy to leave the door wide open with Matherly maybe trying to sneak down the inside. But we're kind of back to it again, where we're seeing Matherly changing up his lines, taking something different, not following, not going to the main lines, just in case Tharp makes a mistake. Matherly is able to avoid him and take over this race lead.
Yeah, I think the good thing is he's been doing this the whole race, so he knows he has so many different options of where he can pass and different things, and he knows what lines are smooth to him, what lines are slower and smoother, but maybe a little bit harder to get into and faster. So he's able to go and pick and choose his lines right here, what he wants to make work on Braden, as well as he's been watching his for most of the race. So we see right now he goes to that middle rut right there, gets a huge drive, and this is where I saw him lose time a couple laps ago. Look at that. Whoa. Avoiding a lapper right there that was down. There's the triple to the inside. This is where he can definitely make a move. He's going to get alongside him. It's power to the ground. Let's see, side by side. Dualies!
Oh, big ones too off the big quad, and Tharp launching down the hill to save the lead and almost goes into the tough blocks in the process. What a battle we are having for this first moto win here at High Point, and Matherly still has not found a way through. The only time he's passed Tharp straight up now is when Tharp was actually on the ground. Tharp, every single time Matherly pulls up alongside, clicks it into another gear and holds it in the race lead. Incredible stuff out of both riders. Is this the move here down the inside? Matherly deep into the corner, pushes Tharp out, finally makes the pass to the lead, but Tharp's on it again going up the uphill. Who's going to have the drive at the top? Tharp launches out to the rollers and is not going to get there just yet, but he's not done with him. Almost goes for the T-bone up the inside, but Matherly finally is into the lead.
Yeah, Tharp right there made a move that almost seemed like it would be a last lap one, but they do still have 1 lap to go. I'm wondering if Braden feels like he has lost a little bit of the touch of the top end speed that Cade can get, but we saw that slingshot through that inside rut, just able to pull past him as they come along. The white flag is waving. They are moved on to the last lap right here. Matherly with 0.7 second lead right here. Braden Tharp sending it off the single up the inside, trying to make a move as they come into this wall turn right here. There's so many different outside lines that you can just send it into and slingshot off of. Look at that, trying to show him a wheel as Tharp goes over, but is able to hold on to it. And this is just going to keep the battle going just a little bit more. What was that one?
The special trick, because he just saved something stupid. Oh my gosh.
Oh God. This is awesome racing right now by this 250 class right here. I think Hangtown second moto was a really, really good race, but the closest that we've seen. But this is one of the best. These two have just completely separated themselves from the rest of the field. Complete domination by these two over everyone else in their class, trying to show off that Braden Tharp wants to be a contender. He's far back in points, but if he keeps on putting rides like this, he'll be up there soon. And Matterly is going to be your new red plate leader, and he's showing him, listen, I'm the best. I got a good start, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come out. I'm going to chase you down, Braden Tharp, for 35 minutes, and I'm going to take this thing home.
Man, these two were mono this entire moto, and it was a tremendous bout between the two of them. It looks like when it's all said and done, it is going to be Matherly, unless a big mistake like that, a little bit wayward in that rut, and Tharp is not done just yet. And remember, we saw in the Consolation Race someone launching down the hill on the final lap of the race. So I think it's going to be a full send here from Tharp to try to get this win back in his favor. We got 2 turns left to go as they come up to the top of the hill right here. It's actually 3, but Matherly's going to hang a left through this corner. Ooh, a little bit sideways, and a lapper coming back on the track. Tharp scrubs it down. He's pushing all the way to the bitter end, and this could even come down to penalties as well, depending on how far they went off the track, and Tharp goes down at the bottom of the downhill. That is going to hand it over to this man for good. Your Moto 1 winner here at High Point, Cade Matherly.
Yeah, Matterly takes that with a commanding win after Tharp goes down trying to send it. I almost wonder if he should have laid up a little bit, as you were mentioning. If he kept it close, cuts could come into view, because after it's such a long race, they definitely can add up if these guys, and they are using some little cheeky lines on some of these downhills and rough sections right here. You might even see Parlow hit this little right edge right here a little bit smoother, as they gives them some speed to launch up that hill. Parlow, though, pretty far back right here in third place. Not sure exactly what the gap was. We'll see it. There we go. 52 seconds back from Austin Parlow here in third place up to your leader, Cade Matterly, and Braden Tharp was 11.5 seconds back after going down. So what an insane thing to almost pull out a 1 minute lead over the third place rider in this moto. Maverick Snyder crushing it in fourth, second week in a row. Heilman keeping it close, and Leitzel was able to come up. Man, look how close he was to getting a fourth place finish right there.
Yeah.
Luke Sullivan crushing it in seventh, coming along, just been smooth and steady all moto for him. Jeremy Siebold as well, coming across in eighth, and Shao in ninth, and Seth Carr finishing very close behind in 10th. Some really close finishes after that huge gap from the top two, Kellen.
And I'll tell you what, I think Carr went down on the final lap, ran a 2:21.4, and still got ninth in that moto by the looks of it. So well done to Seth Carr. He crossed 10th, but I can already see penalties over here. Looks like he's going to get ninth. Ollie Cruz slips back to 11th. Max Wilczek in 12th. 13th for Lucas Brune. 14th, Dylan Dallaire. These guys are all pushing to the checkered flag right now. It's not over just yet. As Brune, let's see, he's going to go wide. Nope, Dallaire not going to get close enough, and he'll settle for 14th. Alec Horn, Jack Mark, Hayden Stevenson, Axel Halley battling it out with Ben Nerona. I don't know if that's how you say it. I don't remember seeing this name before for RBT, but good ride for him. Jeff Cooper, Manuel Cepeda, Joey Carter, our whole shot winner. Jack Gatlin also coming down the hill. These guys are out of the points. Emmett Sun, Wyatt Grant, Race Cobble, Jackson Vick, Evan Holt, Ryan Swanson, Colin Holden, Emil Hool, Jackson Lindsay, Nick Niles, Caden Speck, Logan Mortberg, Cody Branson, Cole Betts, Evan Vanderkoyn, Tyler Nichols, and Jeremy Schiabro. Your 250 Moto 1 finishers in this one.
That was pretty sick. That was one of the best races I think that we've had all year. As far as that battle for the lead, just consistently nonstop. And yeah, you see that a little bit of time was lost between cuts for Tharp. So I think even if he was close, actually, yeah, if he was close, they would have changed just a little bit there. But great ride by those two. And man, I think if you're Logan Leitzel or Seth Carr, you really need to be focusing on just getting a really good start. They've got probably about 40 minutes until their next moto is going to start as we wait for the 450 Moto 1 to run. But it's going to be some pressure on those guys. They need to get a good start, because the fact that they can check out on the field like that, if you end up starting back outside the points, you're just way behind the 8-ball, and the best you can do is try to salvage points. They both did a really good job at that this moto, but man, I mean, that's a first to a ninth place difference is huge from Seth Carr to Cade Medley there.
Absolutely. And just like you said, a great first moto to kick things off here tonight. At High Point, we'll get back in studio with you guys. Kellen Brower, Andrew Wood in the booth. I did add another channel points usage that you can do in the middle of that moto. I'm not going to force you to do it, but if someone wants to drop 15,000 channel points, I will give you all 40 riders going to the gate in 450 Moto 1 or whatever moto you want in the David Lee Supercross announcer's voice, if you want it. But you have to drop the 15,000 channel points. It sucks.
I think that's a good one because the racing, it's like stuff's happening. And
yeah,
it's
it's
different.
tough with racing, yeah. There you go.
And
so
I'm not
V
good at
just redeemed
voices. There we go, Vegas.
Let's go ahead and do this.
Veggies.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you guys a rundown of everybody going to the line in 450 Moto number 1 in the David Lee voice. That's the guy's name that does the Supercross announcing, and he sounds like this. He's got a gnarly voice. All right. For VGPR, the 762 machine of Xander Brion. We got the FXR 131 decals Nexus Team Jerusalem Yo 976 of Joseph Pilsner. Phil Ski and Snowboard sends the 78 of Jacob Hubbard to the line. Tryhard making his pro debut on the 636 out of Brazil. It's the 636 of Pedro Barboza. Now I just sound like I'm yelling.
yeah, that's fine.
Spencer Turley team going on the 125 program. He's riding a 10-year-old Kawasaki of Spencer Turley. Roosted Productions on all socials, the 51 of Payson Johnson. Whatever cryptocurrency he's running this week, it's the number 1 of the defending champion, Alexis Leclerc. District Design sending the number 40 ride of Trevor Burns to the line. DX3's 37 of Devin Davis. BPC number 731 of Ash Deering. We got the ENK Racing number 27, Liam Atkinson. EVP number 79, Kyle Boardman. Heckman Productions, SYS Racing, the 38 of Ethan Parks. RBT, the 170 of Teddy Lehman. District Designs, the number 24 of Colby Eagland. Elite Decals, the 767 Blake O'Brien. Could have been the number 80. He was your LCQ winner of Sonny Spicer. District Designs, the 216. It's Jake Spiess. Bryce Whelan, no team, going to the line on the 31. 2022 East champion of Bryce Whelan. BPC powder coating, going to the line of the 21, Chase Blakely.
Let's go.
Phil Ski and Snowboard, the number 22 of Braden Castellaneta. Twizzy on the number 45 ride, Ethan Gerst. District Designs, we already talked about him. The Takatoji ride, the 351 of Chase Donovan. Oh my gosh, running out of voice over here. If I could get in the server. These guys are moving around too much. TSCZ Productions, the 816 of Killiam Ortiz. We also have the Phil Ski and Snowboard TTV Level Up Racing number 17 of Adam Holm. We also have, who else have I missed? The Panini Motorsports number 2 of Seth Shirley. Yogi Designs number 32 ride of Bodie Parker. Underground RC number 28 of Frank Jackson. Who else? The RBT ride, the 36 of Austin Schaefer. JIBR.co number 5, it's Tyler Lang. Panini Motorsports number 30 of Pablo Vial. Phil Ski and Snowboard number 76 of Brandon Larson. No team, just running it all day long. It's the 16 of Caleb Hall. The Temecula Power Sports number 241, Noah Bendis. TSCZ Productions number 53 of Nico Marchini. Think I got everybody named. We also have the at Dr. Do Racing number 228 of Caden Pankow. And I don't think I missed anybody else. All right, that is your 40 riders going to the gate here. 450 Moto 1. Whole shot winner brought to you by the Design Lab Co. Head over to the designlabco.com and check out what they got. 30 minutes plus 2 laps on the board. Who's going to get the whole shot? A-Wood, who we got?
Alexis
They were just blowing it.
Number 1.
Finally threw it to him after 3 minutes of talking, and he can't pick a name. Into turn 1 we go. Bilar shoots it wide down the middle. Is trying to be Leclerc. Jacob Hubbard gets another whole shot. Doesn't get to the second corner first. That's going to be Bilar's taking it over. Leclerc went down. Moving into second, Trevor Burns on the 40. Brandon Larson leading the way here at High Point.
Yeah, Leclerc was very close to getting that, but Hubbard snuck up the inside and then blew his wad in the first corner. It wouldn't be the first time he's done that 6 seconds in. But Brandon Larson with a great start, and he is getting chased down right now by Trevor Burns. This is a great start by him as well. Kellen, if you could make that back normal size again, that would help. Thank you.
Open it on your phone, bro.
Okay. Brandon Larson, though, absolutely crushing it with that start. But Trevor Burns, man, look at how spicy he looks, just scrubbing up that triple right there and making a small mistake, but still holding on to this. We're going to have to see. I see Tyler Lang in 10th, Alexis Leclerc back in 11th. So those are our championship leaders right there. They're up in that fight, and now we're just looking for Payson Johnson. Let's see where he is for these guys. But man, what a great start by the rest of the field that we got going on up here.
Yeah, Payson Johnson is down the running order a little bit. I'm trying to find where the 51 is on the running order. He is in third, excuse me. I was looking too far down. So he's right behind Payson Johnson in a battle for second place. We also got Jacob Hubbard up here with a good start. Brandon Larson up here. I noticed no number 9 of Braden Carter here tonight. So the SX champ looks like he's bowed out of racing. Made it 3 rounds, honestly longer than we thought he would. So good for him. But yeah, Payson going to work, and he's got a lot of heavy hitters a little bit further down the field. So like Matherly in the first moto, this could be another great opportunity for Payson Johnson to get some valuable championship points in his favor.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. Just like we saw in the first 250 moto, when you've got 3 really serious championship contenders here that are battling for this series, and especially when Payson Johnson does have a decent gap. He's got about 20 points on these guys. If you see yourself get up front early and the rest of them outside the top 10, you know you're in for a good day of point scoring right here, and he's just trying to extend it before. He's won a championship, so he knows how to do it. And this is exactly what he needs to do. Just have elite speed. But look at these guys right behind him. Not really letting him go so far. Jacob Hubbard keeping it close. These two are spreading away a little bit, but that's a great camera shot. You see 4 riders in the same section right behind them. But their move is to try to go up and chase the leader, Trevor Burns, right here, and just move his way up. And that's actually not Hubbard. That's Brandon Larson. Good for him,
It was
though.
Hubbard. You're fine.
It was Hubbard. All right. But B-Lar is right there making a small mistake, though. So now Payson Johnson, I think he's going to see a gap behind himself. And he's got about 4 or 5 seconds up to first place position. So he's going to try to just throw in a couple heaters right here and catch Trevor Burns and get himself in the lead early on so he can control this race.
Yeah, his former District Designs teammate, Trevor Burns, out front. I don't really know if Payson still... I don't even know what team he's on, Twizzy, right? But so not on the district program anymore. And now former teammate Trevor Burns leads the race in front of him. So these are 2 guys that have been familiar with battling each other in the past, and we'll see if that comes into play at all. Castellaneta, B-Lars, Hubbard makes it a Phil's 3, 4, 5. Then you got Noah Bindis on his Temecula Motorsports KTM with a strong start in 6th place right now. Jake Spees in 7th, another district rider battling up here at the front. And then Alexis Leclerc in 8th. So I noticed almost got to the line first, side by side with Hubbard, and then went into turn 2 a little bit wide, tucked the front end, and slipped down through the field a little bit. So good recovery thus far to get all the way back to 8th. But if you're Leclerc, you can't let Payson Johnson get away. And just as I say that, Johnson has taken over the race lead. Trevor Burns already tossing it away as he slips back to 3rd.
Yeah, honestly, you see these guys jumping from that pre-braking bump before that drop-off there all the way down to one of the first bumps way down the hill. that's a huge, just precise gap that these guys have. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing it the whole moto or if it just builds up and maybe gives them a little bit of a bigger landing, but it's really impressive to see everyone inside the top 5 sending it down that hill like that. And that's just how these guys carry so much speed. But Trevor Burns giving up the lead early, trying to make his way back up and not let these guys get away in front of him. Great start so far, but man, when you relinquish the lead 2 minutes or 2 laps into the race to a guy like Payson Johnson, I don't think that it's coming back to anyone. I think Payson Johnson's going to try to just throw in some heaters and extend this thing as far as he can early on. Trevor Burns, though, putting on some pressure on the back of Braden Castellaneta as they go into this very tricky off-camber section.
Yeah, look at Burnsy putting that heat on Castellaneta like you mentioned. Johnson did go fastest lap of the race last time by, and a nice save there by Castellaneta not to get too wayward. Oh, up, easy there, Turbo. Almost getting a little bit too sideways for his liking, but a nice job of corralling it together and hanging on to P3. Behind that, still B-Lars, another Phil's rider, and then Hubbard behind that. Hubbard and Noah Bindis going at it. I'll tell you what, Noah Bindis on the Temecula Power Sports KTM having a really good ride here to start off his evening at High Point. We've seen Bindis from a time or two have strong rides like this, get a good start, and battle with these guys. But look at this straight up dogfight with Jacob Hubbard for this 5 position, not letting him go. And he's sandwiched between a lot of Phil's riders as Leclerc comes up from behind in the 7th position. I don't think Bindis cares about that. I think he's too focused on trying to get Jacob Hubbard for 5th.
Yeah, I mean, he's really just trying to make his way forward. Bindis just putting in a great ride, and I think sometimes you just get super comfortable and you just kind of feel the flow on a certain track and just kind of try to pull away and just get a good ride going in. Bindis really off to a great start, and I think that's just how he feels. Really gels with this track, maybe likes the downhills or the off-cambers or the really rutted sections, and is just able to make a move. And this would be one of his... It's got to be one of his best finishes ever right now, right? If he finishes top 5 in the moto. He's been around for a while and had some good finishes, but nothing this high up. And I know it is early on, but competing with the names that he's around right now on the track, just really impressive ride by him on this Temecula Motorsports KTM that we got going on. Ooh. Look at him sending it right now, and he's about to make a pass on not only Jacob Hubbard, but also looking like he's going to try to get around B-Lars as well.
Yeah, Bilar's having a great ride right now in 3rd as well. It must be set, or 4th, I should say, behind Burnsy, as Hubbard switches up to the outside to block the line off from Noah Bindis and then jumps off the track and goes down. So Bindis is going to take over P5 as he just closes up that gap a little bit more on Bilar's. But yeah, Bindis is having a great ride. Many props to him getting off to a good start. A couple quick shout outs to Dominic22B for resubbing with his Prime, 3rd month in a row doing that. Thanks so much. And also to Pierce Motorsports subbing with Prime as well. So thank you so much, Pierce Motorsports and Dominic B. Very much appreciate the support. It makes it so much nicer for us to have all you guys every single week adding value to these broadcasts and making it so A-Wood can come up here every week and yell about stuff with me.
Yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate all the support to Kellen and his streams and everything. Really helps support and makes it exciting for me to come down every week and talk about virtual dirt bike racing with you guys. We saw Brandon Larson go down there in that tricky right-hand corner. Noah Bindis gave him the business in that corner as he make the move pass right there. Braden Castellaneta, though, we see him right now trying to chase down Trevor Burns, who after that great start has been able to hold on. And man, just a couple mistakes early on, drop back just a little bit, but able to move his way back up, stay in 2nd place, and see how long he can hold on to this. Ooh. Oh, and he relinquishes the lead to Braden Castellaneta there as he just gets a little bit sketchy landing off that single, goes up the inside, rides through a bale, but is able to keep it on 2 wheels as Braden Castellaneta keeps moving forward here. But Trevor Burns looks spicy, and he looks like after that mistake, he wants to get back up and try to control this thing from ahead of him. They're both in a podium position right now, but he wants to get back up into 2nd.
Yeah, this is a terrific fight for 2nd, as you mentioned. And up ahead, Payson Johnson went 2:04.406 for the new fastest lap of the race, and then immediately followed it up with a 2:05.1. So he is absolutely cooking. Nobody else below a 2:06 right now. 2:06 for Pablo Vial in P6. And then these guys that you're watching on our screen right now, both in the 2:07 range last time by. So yeah, Payson's certainly putting it together at the front of the field as Castellaneta lays it down, and Burns goes right back on by through into the 2 spot. So let's go on board with Johnson for a minute and just watch the man go to work here. One of the fastest riders to ever play this game, qualifying laps unreal every single week. And the 2022 RaceFactory Gaming National Champion on the number 51 Roosted Productions bike. Just making it look all too easy. It's not this easy to go this fast in MX Simulator, folks. You might pick up the controller and think, oh yeah, I can hit the rut like that, and I can go over those bumps, I can scrub a jump that way. Nope, you can't. Payson Johnson's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Payson is just completely next level. I think there's people in this game that just have respect for the crazy stuff that he can do on a dirt bike. I know it's not Braden Carter's specialty, but he can throw down a lap within a second or two of Payson Johnson. But we talk to him sometimes, and even a multi-time 4 or 5-time Supercross champion like Braden Carter still has to be. He's in awe sometimes of stuff that Payson does, and he's like, dude, I can't do that. Like, he'll tell us, like, it's just unreal what they can do. And this is as the track is breaking down. We're only 10 minutes into this. It's gonna keep getting rougher, but dude, I go on this track in single player, try to throw down a couple laps, and it's almost impossible, dude. The speed that these guys hit the ruts is probably about 5 times faster than your average person you're gonna see. So he just carries so much more speed everywhere. Dropped a 2:04.5 casually. 2:04.4 has been his best lap so far out of the first 4, and then he dropped that 2:04.5 on lap 5. So yeah, he is absolutely sending it right now, and just the way he breaks down the track and pre-jumps some of these things. One of the smoothest racers you'll ever see, and doing things that almost nobody else on the dirt bike can in this game.
Yeah, oh my gosh, do you see how far down that hill he's jumping? 2:04.5 last time by, a little slide out right there, and just kind of slides into the rut, no problem. But yeah, 2:04.4, 2:05.1, 2:04.5, and yeah, right now nobody else is 2:06.2 for Pablo Vial in 6th again. Everybody else is 2:09 and back, basically. He's cooking, man. And it is so fun just to sit on board with Payson, watch him work his magic, because like we said, it's kind of the pinnacle of the game. Like, this is what going as fast as you possibly can at this stage of the moto on this racetrack really looks like. You're putting in quality laps, you're just pulling the lead out. He went from 10 seconds to 17 seconds in the last lap that we were on board with him. And I think he's on his way to an even faster lap. I almost want to stick on board to see if he can go maybe sub 2:04.
Yeah, I mean, this is like shades of Eli Tomac, beginning of 2015 season, when he just kind of dominated early on. Before he hurt his shoulder, it was just like, oh, this guy's not only the fastest person on the track, but he's 2 or 3 or 4 seconds faster a lap. And we saw Jet Lawrence kind of have rides like that last year. 2016 Millville Kenny, just elite rides. This is kind of what you're seeing from Payson Johnson. And I mean, there's still the possibility that he doesn't bring this thing home, but look at how far he jumps down the hill, jumps down again to that braking bump, still makes the inside. This is just elite speed. We saw it at Paula, and we're seeing it again here. He's got some small mistakes, but still probably drops under a 2:04, right?
2:05. I feel like that last
mistakes.
little bit right there, landing in the transition of the braking bumps on the uphill, really hurt him.
Trevor
Burns is launching down the hill right now, right in front of Pablo Vial, who has been consistently the second fastest rider on the track. Vial, Panini Motorsports Fantic rider, really having a good moto thus far, coming from just outside the top 10 into 3rd now, and putting the heat on Trevor Burns for 2nd. Obviously, Burns not in a mood to lose that position again, launching down the downhill into the off-camber. But Pablo Vial might be inevitable, and he's going to go by him anyway, as down goes Trevor Burns, barrel rolling into the start straight area. Burns is going to lose a spot to Castellaneta, and who's going down right there? Eagland, just as he was about to move by. And then almost going down right there is that Hubbard, I think. Or
Belars,
actually Belars,
and then Hubbard.
And then look at this, so many more riders in the mix. There's D. Davis on the 37, Bryce Whelan also having a good moto, then Eagland, then T. Lang. All these guys getting into the mix. Sneaking by into 3rd and having a career ride right now is Noah Bindis. We are at almost halfway point in this moto, and he is in 3rd place now, 4 seconds behind Pablo Vial, who is just going off screen right there. This is a battle for 3rd, though. He's got Braden Castellaneta right behind him. These two have been kind of interlocked a lot of the moto as well, and Bindis is trying to defend and doing a great job of it.
Yeah, Lane, our stats guy in chat, tells us that Noah Bindis has 1 top 5 in 450 Supercross, but never in outdoors. So, I mean, even though it's just one moto, as he goes OTB, Yeah, he'll get up. He'll still be there. He's all right. The way that he's been riding, I think he's got that just a weird kick. Honestly, I bet you that was probably like a, hey, I'm going to scratch my nose or something and take my hand off the controller because you feel so comfortable on the jump. He didn't even try to whip that and just got a bad kick, unable to save it by panic revving there. But Bendis gets back up. He's still inside the top 5, so he can get that going. And honestly, this is just like a fun statement ride where he's coming out of nowhere and he's saying, this is going to be the one where I finally put it all together. Hopefully he comes out and shows us the same Moto 2. Just has to get a good start because the way that he's riding, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be able to repeat this performance here. This is not just some flash in the pan. He's had a great ride so far, and we love shouting him out as we've seen certain people do him. Frank Jackson is another guy that's been doing it. I just saw his name back in 19th, so having a rough ride here. But Frank Jackson walks, so Noah Bendis could run, you know?
Yeah, Bendis is doing a good job here. There's Burnsy, Vial, and then Castellaneta moved back into second, so Vial went down. Meanwhile, 2:04.046 out of our race leader, 32-second lead, 15 minutes into this moto for Payson Johnson. So, yeah, at this point, this is going to be crazy. Do we maybe want to do a prediction poll where we ask the people in the chat how far Payson laps up to, and we say, is he get past?
Oh, he tossed!
Oh,
he just tossed the biggest whip we've seen since last time we raced Unadilla, because everyone tosses huge whips there. Just clutch, turn, brake, turn, and tosses a completely upside down and backwards whip right there. Payson Johnson showing us he not only can go fast, but he's also got some steez.
All right, so I'm thinking we say the poll options are better than 10th, better than 15th, better than 20th, and better than 25th are the options, or other.
Yeah, where's he at right now?
He is lapped all the way up to 35th right now, but he hasn't really hit the back of the pack yet. Like if you look right now,
we're doing like a 10, 15, 20, 25.
Look at that. And he's launching down the downhill right now too.
Honestly, it was sick when we saw it in the LCQ because it was like guys that aren't on this level. When you see him do it, and we saw Trevor Burns tossing it looks clean. It actually doesn't look that hard. We've seen it before. No replay cam. Let's see. I think our boy Lane got a clip. Sorry, you're doing it. Yeah, we got a clip in chat if you want to throw that. That was an unreal whip. We could watch that because why not? Payson Johnson's 33 seconds out front. He's doing crazy stuff. And why not celebrate him as he goes down and makes a small mistake? But when you're leading by over 30 seconds, you can give up those kind of tip overs. Braden Castaneda following in second place. Trevor Burns still in third after going down earlier. And we're going back to Colby Eaglin Pablo Vial in third. Wait, what is happening? Burns, Bendis, my thing didn't update. Vial and Castaneda is your top 5. Eaglin in 6th. Larson in 7th. D. Davis 8th.
Payson laps up to, and we say, is he get past? Dude, like he comes on the screen already backwards.
Yeah, he's like, so that's the only bad part about this camera view we got is that we're seeing them as they leave the lip. What he's doing is he's hitting the clutch and the brake and throwing himself. He's backwards as he's going up. Look at how far it hits the apex, then starts turning that thing around. Has it pretty flat right there. Able to bring it, just cases the quad a little bit. But dude just gets right back on the gas in the race line and just shreds down that downhill right here.
I feel like for a minute there, he was panicked that wasn't coming back, but he did. You know what I think 100%. That deserves, Haywood? I think that deserves a special trick.
That was a special trick
that was
right
pretty
there.
Ridiculous.
That was so sick. I mean, that just shows you that you know that you're the best and you feel like you've got this in the bag when you start doing that stuff up front.
Yeah,
man,
that was crazy.
That was sick.
Honestly, that reminds me, as Gustavo Deniz in chat says he hasn't seen that in a race. It reminds me of, and this is dating me, but T-Lang in 2012 Tyler Crane, when he was leading Unadilla in 2012, every single lap on the Sky Shot would brake slide the Sky Shot.
Yeah, he was the one that kind of like pioneered it and then did it in racing.
And so he was, gone in 450 Moto 2, I think, and he was brake sliding the Sky Shot every single lap, the most backward whips you could possibly imagine. It's very similar to what Payson just did right there. 12 years ago at Unadilla, T-Crane was absolutely cooking some stuff up out there. I'll tell you that, folks.
Yeah, we used to call them just T crane whips before we started, brake slides or oppos or whatever. And it was just like, then people started doing, I think it was like Brady Stanley or someone started doing like the flips and stuff and just getting those things down, like little Aussie roll type stuff or whatever. But it's always fun seeing that. We normally don't see any of that stuff until we get to Unadilla and the Sky Shot. So cool for him to toss that for us right there. And yeah, that's just confidence right there, man. Just feeling good and knowing he's fast. But back on board with Noah Bindis right now, as I missed the prediction too. I didn't know you made it go live. My bad.
Sorry, I tried to say I was putting it out there anyway, but
it's all right.
87% of you think that he'll get up to the top 15, but only 7% think he will make it to the top 10. That is Payson Johnson, our leader, and who he's going to lap in traffic. He's tossing backwards whips, scrubbing down the hill right now. Right now he is right behind Killian Ortiz. I think that is on the 816 that he's lapping. And it looks like it right there. So that is lapping 31st place. And we still have, 10 minutes and 2 laps left to go. And he's just now getting to the back of the field. There's plenty of opportunities for sure. All right, Bernsey is starting to close the gap back up onto the rear fender of Noah Bindis in a fight for third. And he's bringing Colby Eaglin with him. There's a Kawasaki fender poking through back there. And that's T-Lang. Look at this fight right here. T-Lang with Pablo Vial. 3 riders together.
Look at how close they are.
That was really tight with Vial and Lang as they're all coming into this big quad together. Eaglin leading them right in front there with T-Lang and Vial scrubbing that jump together, battling one another. And this is a fight for the 5th position. Eaglin in it right now, and he's actually right behind Noah Bindis as well. So that could also play into the effect of this battle and how it's unfolding and everything like that, as my lovely wife comes rolling into the studio with chocolate covered strawberries. My goodness, she is incredible. This is the best. All right.
I'm so proud of you, Holly. Good job.
My daughter letting us know that she had chocolate hands and just washed her hands, so well done to her. We'll show off these chocolate strawberries in a minute. Battle for this position. Now, that's actually just Eaglin going around a lapper, but there is Bindis up the road, still dealing with Burns. Burns launching down the hill in a fight with Noah Bindis for third, and Burns is going to get that pass done up the inside. Nicely done by him, as these guys continue to duke it out for third place. And 5th place, Eaglin. Oh, Lang laid it down, and Vial is going to be right there going by.
Such a bad spot to drop it or lay it over.
Shirley. Whoa, Seth Shirley is in the mix now. Where did he come from? Oh, and he goes down. Pile up. Oh, my goodness. Yard
D.
sale.
Davis gets past all those dudes.
Yeah, D. Davis goes by, and he's going to move up into 6th. Vial 7th. Belar's 8th, and then T-Lang right there in 9th with Seth Shirley picking it up in 10th. You got Hubbard 11th, Ash Deering 12th, Bryce Whelan 13th, and Alexis Leclerc still 14th. 14th for Alexis Leclerc.
I mean, this is just a huge miss by Leclerc. You just can't be doing this. I mean, I talked about Frank Jackson, who's made it up to 17th, but he was just like this guy that was putting in some good rides, but not really a part of the championship hunt. You think Alexis Leclerc, having the number 1 plate, multi-time champion, is going to be able to kind of come back from a bad start here and really just has not figured it out. I don't know if he's just not gelling with the track, what's going on with him, if he's just gotten into chaos or what in the back of the pack, but really just a big miss by him right now. Cannot be in 14th place so far back. Tyler Lang at least made his way up inside the top 10 and 9th. He still needs to make some moves or else these guys are going to completely lose touch with Payson Johnson, who's going to have a huge points lead after this moto here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is not the way that Leclerc was hoping the night would go. Not the way that Seth Shirley or T-Lang hoped the night would go. At least thus far, man, they got to turn it around pretty quickly here before this moto's done. We only got 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps left to go. Belars and Hubbard, probably in a Discord together, have been dogfighting this entire moto. This is for 10th now between the two of them. They were up inside the top 5. Probably a few crashes have slipped them back into a fight for 10th. But, 76 versus 78 field ski and snowboard riders just going at it. A little layover there for Belars. Hubbard trying to close that gap down, and Belars goes down right in front of him. Hubbard, I don't know how he did not go down.
That's crazy.
That was a great save to go over top of him.
And that lapper just definitely did not have the reflexes that Jacob Hubbard had. That is skill right there, able to avoid down rider right in front of you. just was able to jump out of the rut and keep it on 2 wheels barely. But that's huge for him, especially when you've been fighting to get inside the top 10 position after falling back. That really is just not what he needed if he would have fell back right there. Bilar is all the way back to 14th. Leclerc up to 12th right there. So able to help him out a lot. But man, there's some big guys shaking it up front. I love what we've seen from Trevor Burns and Bindis so far. But that's not what you want to see if you're the guys battling for the championship points right here. As we see Bryce Whelan about to get passed by Leclerc. Leclerc, he almost rolls over for him a little bit there. It just shows him he didn't have the speed. He doesn't have a team name, but is he on Phil's?
Yeah, well, I mean, Leclerc, the skins are Phil's, and then Bryce Whelan is also with Phil's skins. So I'm guessing that they.
Yeah, I mean, but everyone's umbrella. On Phil's. Look at this. Hubbard's right there too.
So Leclerc just finally cracked into the top 10 as he gets around Hubbard coming down the downhill. And next up will be this battle between Seth Shirley and Devin Davis right now for 8th. Oh, Shirley almost laid it down. Davis holds position. And a very strong 8th place ride for him as well. He's also right on the rear fender of T-Lang just up the road. I believe Payson went down. He did a 2:15.1, which is still a ridiculous lap time, and then immediately followed it up with a 2:06.0. He is lapped up to 23rd place now, Caleb Hall. And we still have, 4.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. So all those people that predicted the top 15, I think are going to end up being correct. Nobody put money on top 25 or other. So we might end up having nobody win.
Ooh, then where do they go? Should give them all to me. Why not?
Go back out to him and see how things are going. Yeah, just 2:06 flat, this deep in the moto.
Yeah, only 31 seconds out front, though.
Bouncing through the bumps like it's nothing.
Yeah, the thing is, he doesn't really have to pull this lead over second place that much because they're going fast as well to move his way up through the field. It's really just about staying consistent when everyone else who's back outside the points starts slowing down. Just look at the way he's able to pick his way through. Spencer Turley there we saw getting out of his way off track, which is nice for him. Let's see if we get someone's got to get an onboard with him, or we got to get a third person. Someone tell him to throw it backwards on that. Later, Whisker Biscuits. He goes down, loses the rear end, front tire slip, rear end kick, and he goes down.
Man, that was actually kind of gnarly. The rear end just sliding over the top of that berm, and down he goes. So that's going to cost him a little bit of time. He's still going to be about 24 seconds ahead of this man, Braden Castellaneta. There's Trevor Burns, Noah Bindis, and Colby Eaglin inside the top 5. Pablo Vial coming down the downhill is still in P6. 7th for Tyler Lang. 8th now for Seth Shirley. Devin Davis in 9th, and Alexis Leclerc rounding out our top 10. Brandon Larson 11th, Jacob Hubbard 12th, Ash Deering in 13th. Good ride for Ash Deering, putting the heat on some of those guys. Bryce Whelan now 14th. Chase Blakely 15th, passing a lapped rider. Frank Jackson in 16th, now moving up into a good position with Tyron Tomich. First time we've seen Tyron Tomich in the outdoors this year, finding his way into 17th. Adam Holm is 18th on the number 17. Jake Spiess in 19th, and Teddy Lehman rounds out our top 20 points-paying positions. Spencer Turley is just outside of the points in 21st, and then this is the first man to lap down Joseph Pilsner on a two-stroke in 22nd. We always love when the two-stroke shows up to play.
Hell yeah,
and ripping the RM Army out here right now, gold rims and all, looking solid.
Just kicking it, dude. It's pretty much the same bike as if the guy right behind him making a pass. Look at that. Those both haven't been updated since like 2008. So Ethan Parks making a pass right there on his Suzuki teammate Joseph Pilsner. These guys duking it out. 28, just Suzuki teammate, not real teammate. 28 minutes into the moto, and these guys are battling to the death outside. And just look at, it's still crazy because I was Devin Davis messaged me last week, and he's like, I qualified like 35th. I ran a fast lap time, but I ran consistently that qualifying lap over and over and over and over, and guess what? Still didn't even score points. So it's so difficult, and a great ride and bounce back by Devin Davis to move up and be running inside the top 10 just a week later. But it's intense, the speed that these guys have, and there's just a Suzuki party going on back here. But Blake O'Brien trying to make some moves and get past them all right here. Do something cool, guys. Throw some whips.
Well, let's see. Oh, yeah.
Boy.
Double whip, though. Sheesh. All right. Payson Johnson got around Spencer Turley now, so he's lapped up to 21st. Here's Teddy Lehman in 20th, and he should have the blue bar pretty soon. That's Payson Johnson just coming over the hill in the background of him, 30 seconds. Yeah, there it is, blue bar on the bottom of our screen now. I know you guys can't see that with our overlay graphic, but Teddy Lehman being told to move out of the way, that would move him to 20th. And right now at 15.8 to 1 odds, Carl Novak, who laid in 1,000 channel points, is looking at maybe getting 15,000 channel points out of this. So we'll see if that works out in his favor or not. But a great ride regardless for Teddy Lehman, holding on to 20th. And now he's going to swing wide. And here comes Payson Johnson lapping 20th place.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. You don't really want to finish right in front of the leader. I know there's still 5 minutes to go, but sometimes you're just tired, dude. And it's been 34, 35 minutes, and you finish just ahead of the leader, and you have to do a whole nother lap by yourself. It can be really, really draining. Wow. Just the speed that Payson Johnson has right now is ridiculous. The way that he slams into these ruts and he's able to just flow around the racetrack and look so comfortable so far into this race is just pretty astonishing right now. I love watching Payson when he's on, and well, obviously he's made some mistakes, and this isn't the biggest time margin he's won over the rest of the field, but this is still one of his more impressive races that we've seen. Whenever he's on, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, every moto, there's always the potential that this Payson comes up to play, and it's usually dependent on a start. If he can get out front and get some space early on, we see this level of ride out of Payson Johnson very often. Otherwise, he has to do some serious fighting through the field, and he's done a good job at salvaging many rides like that this year thus far. But it's honestly, I know people don't maybe love a dominant moto, but I feel like people love seeing domination out of a rider. Look at this, tripling up the hill right there. And
with
whipping,
the oppo.
Yeah, whipping too. And Payson Johnson is, making this series his for sure in the early stages of this championship. Someone is going to have to stop the bleeding quickly, or otherwise he is going to take off and run with this thing. It has been impressive to watch thus far.
I mean, I honestly don't know if anyone can stop the bleeding, but really, I think it's just someone needs to kind of stay consistently close enough for when he makes his mistakes to capitalize on it. And I think that's what we're not seeing right now by Tyler Lang and Alexis Leclerc's performances in this moto. I know it's just one moto out of 22, but you can't keep letting him get away with this. Like, you really can't. It doesn't matter if he wins by 40 seconds, drops a 205 30 minutes into the race, and is doing crazy freaking laps. It's like, just be in second or third and minimize the points lost every round, because you know that in a round or two he's gonna have an explosion. It could even be next moto. I think he really gels with this track though, so maybe not. But there's times where he has a ride like this, and then what happens? Just like we saw at Paula, we thought it was gonna be 22 motos of exactly this, and then he really didn't do good. Didn't get a good start. Kept falling. Kept getting into it with other riders. And he just didn't completely dominate again. And I think that's just what these riders have to do, is put themselves in a good spot and not let him get away, or else he's going to have confidence and be able to ride like this nonstop.
Yeah, and the laps are going by. He's got 2 laps left to go, but he's just making so many passes on lapped riders now. So it looks like he has lapped up to Frank Jackson. I'm trying to see. This is another lapped rider that he's lapping again, I believe. That's Caden Pankow in 31st that he's lapping once again. So that's putting him 2 laps down, but he did just lap around, you lapped Ash Deering on the BPC number 731 for 17th. Let's see how far he gets, man. He's got a big gap, or not a big gap, but a semi-large gap up to a big group of riders that are basically all the way up to top 10. Like, he still has a shot at maybe lapping 10th before this is done.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, I honestly think he's on such a crazy pace, and it's like, oh, maybe he shouldn't catch those guys because they are close to the top 10. But the speed that he has is so much faster. What's like 12th place running lap times right now?
Leclerc, 225 last time by, so we'll go up ahead. Bryce Whelan did a 215.
So 215 is like a standard lap time for the guys that he's coming up on. So if he keeps dropping 205s or on a bad lap runs like a 208, which he might come across with right now, it's like he's still gaining 7 seconds a lap. So yeah, we only have, whoa, Ryder going backwards, 207.8. We were close. So he's got one more lap to go here, but I mean, even a huge gap on the track. I don't know what that was. It was
A
like
little
weird
slide
out.
yeah.
I mean, there's still a chance that he gets these guys by the end of the lap and he laps up inside the top 15. So would not be surprised for that. Why not go and throw a heater down when you've got almost a minute lead right now? Make it a minute.
Yeah.
Take 50 seconds to a minute. He looks like he's uncomfortable though. It's weird. It's almost like when he slows down, he like loses that fast pace. He needs to get a couple smooth sections and then just start hammering it.
It blows my mind how far he can jump down that hill every lap, because it's just consistently further, it seems like, and so good in and out of those inside ruts. I think you're right. I was actually skeptical when I saw the gap on the map in the upper right hand corner that he would get all the way up to 15th. He's lapped 16th place now. Jake Spieth is that position. But yeah, he's going to hit a group of like 3 or 4 guys maybe before this is over. It's going to be tight, but he might get there with the speed that he's carrying around the track. Like, look at that coming out of that corner. Unreal, the amount of performance that he is laying down right now, jumping over that, landing in transition on that outside rut, through the braking bumps, no problem, lands right in the rut, carries good momentum. It just all goes together with what he's doing on the track right now. And you know, we say poetry in motion sometimes with these guys, but it kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, he just rides like someone different, and I know we both had, you know, rides that are rides of our life, and that's kind of what Payson just puts down like every couple rounds. And it's kind of has us in disbelief because we know how difficult it is to be good at this game. A lot of our viewers do too, and the guys that are out here racing him. But it's just crazy that what he can do on a motorcycle in this game, and he's the best of the best right now, and he's trying to take this championship home and put in some good finishes to keep widening this points gap.
It looks like he's going to fall just short of lapping the top 15, but he is going to lap well up the field and dominate 450 Moto 1. Payson Johnson takes the opening moto of the 450 class here at High Point with a nose wheelie down the downhill to boot. Braden Castellaneta looks like he's got second place all but sewn up. Trevor Burns in the 3 spot, and then Seth Shirley a few seconds back of him in 4th now. Colby Eaglin 5th. Noah Bindis, a strong ride, looks like 6th will be heading his way. There's T-Lang in 7th, Pablo Vial in 8th, making him work for it. B-Lars and Hubbard still going at it in 9th and 10th. They've been battling
since the whole shot.
Pretty much, yeah. They battled each other for the whole shot, and they're still battling each other now at the very last lap of the race. It's just never ending. Oh, Vial down.
Vial down way ahead of these guys. These guys don't really have anything, but look at this. 3 fill ski and snowboard riders. Braden Carter, who's not here, his teammates. We got Jacob Hubbard, followed by Brandon Larson and Alexis Leclerc following up. Oh, my triple whip from B-Lars right there.
Like
he's going to hold on to it, flopping like a fish. He's like one of those basses that hang on your wall. Leclerc behind him right now, trying to make a move, though. 37 minutes into this moto, and these guys are still battling. These were the 3 guys that passed the whole shot line together, 1, 2, and 3, and now they're battling back here for 10th place, which is 9th place. Which
they have Adam Holm right behind them, another fill ski and snowboard rider. It's Honda after Honda after Honda. It's literally just a team photo shoot out here. They went 3 wide through that corner right there. Sick. Leclerc was trying to get to the inside, couldn't quite make it happen. Hubbard's just trying to hold P9 down the downhill one final time. Leclerc to the outside of B-Lars, doesn't get the pass done.
You can't even send it because Holmes there.
Yeah, Holmes trying to get all of them just in case something really goes awry at the bottom of the hill. Inside move for Hubbard, inside move for Leclerc, rips the rut, crosses over in front of B-Lars to make the pass. B-Lars trying to whip to get back to the inside, and Leclerc shuts the door. That's going to be P10 for Leclerc, 9th for Hubbard, 11th Adam Holm. B-Lars gets 12th, Blakely 13th, Whelan 14th. D. Davis down right there is going to lose a position. No, he is going to get 15th. He was the last man on the lead lap. So that is going to be that. Jake Spieth 16th, 17th Tyron Tomich, 18th Frank Jackson, 19th Ash Deering, and 20th Ethan Parks in this moto.
Dude, I mean, that was such a sick little race right there. That pack from 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, all within 5 seconds of each other. But that whole battle was happening almost a minute and a half to 2 minutes behind Payson Johnson, the leader. So, I mean, just impressive racing. Payson lapped all the way up to almost get those guys right there in that battle, and it's just it's so crazy that 37, 38 minutes into this moto, that stuff is still going down on the track, and you can finish within a second of someone. And man, these guys are fighting tooth and nail for as many points as they can get, and it's just super impressive by them. But the most impressive thing right now was Payson Johnson's ride, winning by 51 seconds over the rest of the field. Let's see, next fastest lap, he ran a 24.0. Next fastest lap of the race was a 25.2 by whoever, number 30.
25, what are you on about?
205, sorry, 205.25. A lot of 25s in there. But then after that, no one even had a 206. Okay, 28, number 28 in 18th place with a 206. But it's like, he's basically running 2-3 seconds faster a lap than everyone.
Yeah, it's impressive as
insane.
Impressive as hell for sure. All right, 250 Moto 2 coming up in just a minute. Before we do that, we're going to go in studio with you guys and show off what my lovely wife cooked up for us. Some fresh chocolate strawberries, homemade. Big shout out to Mrs. Brower, always coming through with the goods. She's pregnant AF and still cooking stuff up. It was good stuff. So
still chefing, they're so good too.
Dude, look at these things, man. Like crisp.
Put that whole thing in your mouth right now.
Good stuff.
Yeah, some bomb food by the wife. She always brings the best snacks. There's Pookie snacks, then there's Hannah snacks. And
Hannah
honestly,
snacks.
I mean, Holly even made some of these. She helped. Chocolate all over the place. And dude, these things are so fire. They're still so cold too. I think I'm going to have one halfway through each moto so I can savor them. They're also still like ice cold, which is awesome because they're super refreshing. What do we think we're gonna have going on here from this 250 class? Do we think that we're gonna have a bounce back ride from Seth Carr and Logan Leitzel, or do you think that Cade is just gonna kind of go out and throw down with Tharp again? Like, do you think if they get a good start, they can go out and win after their performance, or do you think they're just a little bit off on this track?
I think we have a straight up flipped script in this moto right now. I think that Cade's gonna have a bad start. Seth is going to have a good one, and we're going to see whether that yo-yo effect evens out in this one, because Seth obviously didn't make as much progress through the field in Moto 1. I think Cade might be a little bit better at getting through the field than Seth, so it'll be a good test, but I kind of see that happening. I think Seth gets away with the whole shot and maybe wins this moto even.
Yeah, I think there's something to gaining so much confidence after a good moto like that when you dominate over the rest of the guys that you were kind of battling with. But yeah, I think even if, honestly, and I don't want to say this because I want to see them battle, I feel like if Logan starts in like 5th, I honestly don't know if he's going to have, I mean, he did work him and Carr did work their way up, but they weren't able to kind of keep going. It felt like they stalled out. I think if they start in 5th, they're going to kind of stay there. They might, I don't know if they have the pace to continue going. And that's just like a bummer. I hope they prove me wrong. And I hope we get some really good battling from these guys late into the moto. So we'll see what happens here. It all really depends on the start.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the start. Brought to you by the Design Lab Co. Whole shot pick in this moto. Do you have one lined up that you would like to go for? And should we give another?
I think we kind of shout out to the guys that had good starts last race too, just showing that they're comfortable. They had good finishes. I think Braden Tharp's definitely going to be able to get it. As far as my pick, I honestly think Cade Matherly is going to have that confidence and he's going to be able to take it home.
So Tharp, we also will throw Seth Carr in there. We'll go Leitzel, even though he rarely gets a good start. And one more guy. Say Sullivan. Why not?
Why not? Throw a wild card in there.
Or other. Who gets the Design Lab Co. whole shot? That is a prediction now in chat for you guys to bet on some channel points.
Let's go. 1 minute on the clock. Who gets the 250 Moto 2 whole shot? The whole shot award presented by Design Lab Co. and Nick Porter from NorCal. Let's see. We got some money in on some bubbles. No money betting here. There's no real life stuff going down here. Tharp, someone get in there for Leitzel. You did not spell his name right, but that's okay.
Leitzle.
Leitzle.
It's like Logan Leitzle.
Logan Leitzle. Let's gotta reconnect.
Oh, I thought I did. Whoops, my bad.
You'll be all right. 15 seconds to go. There's a lot of people. We threw in 5 of those dudes, though. Let's go ahead and throw a sprinkle right here, a sprinkle right there. All right, and bets are closed for you guys as we are loading back in the server in just a second. We will see these guys on the gate here. A lot of you guys believe in Braden Tharp. 1,000 channel points wagered down for him right now. So
There's going to be a lot of people that lose channel points if Logan Leitzel gets the whole shot.
yeah. Definitely a bummer. Let's see what happens. We're on the gate. The revs are up. A 30-second girl is running. Revs are up. Gate is down. That went real fast.
That was a fast gate drop, and Austin Partolo, who we jumped to, has a pretty good start up the inside. Wow, from the outside, though, Caden Speck throws a curveball across the bow and rips the Design Lab Co. whole shot. EVP 47 leads here at High Point, and that's going to go to all you others out there. 12% of you thought someone other than the 5 we listed was going to whole shot, and it goes to Caden Speck. Look at that start from the outside. He's got some Panini riders hot on his heels. Oh my goodness, he just got absolutely sandwiched as going into the lead is Seth Carr and just takes over the point. Braden Tharp, Austin Partolo, my goodness, he just got trained.
I was hoping you were gonna. You said the Panini Bros. I saw him coming, and all I wanted to do was say that sandwich stroke right there. But you absolutely crushed it, Kellen, and that's why they pay you the big bucks. Mm-hmm. You never miss. You never miss. Look at Seth Carr after a great bounce back start here. Braden Tharp, who had such a great start and a good first moto, right there in second, and Partolo, who we haven't really seen since round 1 with a great start, and Maverick Snyder, dude, if getting 4th place was you know what, he would be crushing right
Dude,
now.
He's always in 4th.
And he just lives in 4th place. Frank Jackson was on that boat too, but he kind of threw this last moto. Really surprised. Just pencil him in for 4th place. Maverick Snyder, that's where he's going to be. Don't want to get any higher. That's scary. Podiums are scary. Just get right in there, get in 4th, comfortable, keep the shine off you, and get a great moto finish. This dude could be like legit top 3, top 4 in points by the end of the season if he keeps putting in rides like he has. Maverick Snyder absolutely crushing right now, and a great start to this moto, like every other race so far this year.
Yeah, look at him putting the heat on Austin Partolo as well as our lead battle starts to cook up a little bit. I mean, I'm not Nostradamus, but I did say I think Seth Carr gets a much better start this moto, and Matherly's going to be the one that has to work through the field. And look at that. Cade Matherly is, I don't even know where 14th. He is. 14th. So he's going to have some work to do. And Seth Carr out front.
2020 vision, baby. Seth Carr absolutely crushing it. They just flipped the switch. Script?
You could say either, I guess.
Switch. I was trying to sing the song and then I ruined it. Seth Carr, man, this is almost the exact opposite. Carr had a little bit worse start, though, but definitely got stuck there. So we'll have to see Cade Matherly, who's back there still in 14th place, maybe check back in 5 or 6 minutes or so and see if he's still there. Because if he's still in that spot, it really just means that he's not only not moving forward, but if he's not moving out of 14th, he's probably losing touch with this lead group right here. So Seth Carr has the ability to do something huge here and put a huge gap on these guys and try to just throw down some hot laps early. But really, if Matherly is able to just work his way back inside the top 5, he's still going to net points this round. Honestly, getting a 14th place start is nowhere near close to what Carr and Leitzel did early on in first moto by really hurting themselves. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, Seth Carr doing a really good job of just managing this gap early in the moto. You got Tharp, Partolo making it a Panini 1, 2, 3. Then Maverick Snyder in 4th. Jax Lindsay with a good start in 5th. VGPR. Whoa, and as I say that, gets real swapped out and goes down heavy right there from P5. So that was a weird mistake right there for Jax Lindsay. We'll see if he regroups and gets it going again. Cade Matherly able to slot on through and get up into a pretty good position here now in 8th. So Matherly making quick amends. Remember, won the first moto and is trying to gain as many points on Seth Carr as he can tonight. I think based on Carr's result in the first moto, Matherly's already going to be in a position where he's gaining points on him overall, but obviously he doesn't want to lose as many points as he just gained back in that first moto. And right now, all he's trying to do is just take one pass at a time right now, make one little step each lap on by to maybe close up that gap and try to win this overall at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just knocking him off one by one. We're not even 5 minutes into this race right now. So what he just has to do is just keep picking them off, and you're going to end up back with that red plate. Most likely, it's a pretty tight points gap here, and maybe even a bigger gap than what he came in behind in second place. So Matterly doing exactly what he needs to do. We are still early in this championship season right here, but I mean, we're definitely starting to see these couple people separate themselves. I said earlier, is it still going to be those three, or is it going to be just two? And I honestly, I don't know yet. Logan Leitzel feels like he's losing touch. I know he's riding around in 5th place right now, or 6th place, but it's like, I feel like after that first place performance, or that first moto performance, he needs to have a bounce back round next week for me to, even if he finishes top 3 in this one, he needs to have a really big bounce back round next week, or else I feel like he might just be a little bit too out of touch with this championship early on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not gone his way the last few motos, and he has the opportunity, like Matherly right now, to make some good inroads, which he's doing right now. He's going around Tyler's show in the gully here in the middle of the racetrack to try to move up into 4th place, and he's got it. Nice move by the 3. There's Show, there's Partillo, and there is Matherly. I think Matherly and Leitzel, if they can link up, I feel like they have the speed to potentially run down our leader Seth Carr. Maverick Snyder's moved up to 2nd. Tharp is now into 3rd as well, but I feel like Matherly and Leitzel certainly have the pace to mix it up with those guys.
Yeah, I do, and I think this is kind of what you want if you get not that it's a bad start, because being inside the top 10 is not bad, but if you're a little bit further back and you want to train forward, what you need to do is just grab on to the back of someone and just say, okay, we're going to go now. Me and you, we both know we have the speed. This is not where we want to be. And you really just kind of focus and start tunnel visioning and just going and knocking people off as they're going to make a pass on Shao right now up this hill. He already got passed right now by the other Panini rider, Partillo, but Matherly just needs to just make a move quick and just stay on the rear end of Partillo and just keep things going, because if you get stuck a little bit too far, you kind of lose that pace, and I think we're going to see a move in the next corner or two.
New fastest lap of the race, by the way, out of Braden Tharp, who's moved up to 2nd. He got around Maverick Snyder and laid a 206, 203 down, but it was basically identical to what Seth Carr put down out front at a 206, 234. So those both of them out front are putting in a great pace, a blistering pace, I should say, at the front of the field. And it's up to Matherly and Leitzel to really make some damage and some inroads on that lead battle as much as they can. Matherly right now getting kind of stuck behind Tyler Show, has not been able to make that pass just yet. And you can see Leitzel starting to disappear up the road a little bit in that red gear on that blue Yamaha. Look at that. Right as I say it, Matherly's going to try to take advantage down the inside. Not able to get it done just yet. Show holding on and putting on a show for the rest of the pack out here, battling with Cade Matherly for this 5th position.
Yeah, really impressive. I was not expecting him to still have this position this far through this lap with the speed that Matherly was gaining on him early on through that finish line section. But he's doing a great job here so far, and able to move his way or kind of hold on to the position that he's in. I'm looking at lap times right now, though. What's really impressive for me as we keep an eye on this battle is Seth Carr has been able to step up and find that extra gear. Now that he's up front with Braden Tharp, Kellen, he's able to ride that pace, and they're dropping 206s by themselves as Show over jumps that single there, just lands into a braking bump, falls off, and now Matherly is going to set his sights on Logan Leitzel and Partillo in front of him as they work up. And there's a lot of riders up here that he's chasing. Maverick Snyder up still in 4th, or now up in the 3rd. Whoa!
No, sorry, that's another Panini rider the other direction.
Braden Tharp still in 2nd, Seth Carr in 1st. They're still dropping 206s and 207s as they come across the finish line. But I really did not think that after being stuck back there for so long that he was going to be able to step up to that first place speed that he needed, and he's really shined right now.
Yeah, I mean, get out front and stay out front is the mantra that Seth Carr wants to keep hitting round after round, and didn't work in the first moto. Had to do a lot of heavy lifting to get back to a decent position. Ended up finishing in 9th in that one, but now in a position where he can do exactly what he's been doing the first 3 rounds thus far, getting the lead and trying to take off. Doing a good job of it right now. This is your fight for second, with Tharp going down the hill just in front of Maverick Snyder. Logan Leitzel coming up behind that, and Leitzel just laid in a 206 even, completely dead flat to run the fastest lap of the race, fastest rider on the track by over a second last time by. Just when you said Logan Leitzel, it really hasn't shown much today. Now he's starting to cook it all together.
I want to retract my statement that I made. We're not even 10 minutes in, so like 3 minutes ago. The Logan Leitzel's washed comments we're gonna redact those. Logan Leitzel is looking great, man. The speed that these guys have found, it's crazy what you can do when you get a good start. That's why it's so important for them. And for me, I had 1 year where I got good starts consistently, and the rest, it was like impossible to buy a start. I just couldn't do it. And these guys, man, year after year, they're just so consistent. And it's not only the blazing speed, the qualifying speed, the race pace that they have. Look at this, Logan Leitzel making a move. It's the consistency in starts. And when they start up here, they put themselves in position and throw down some lap times. Look at him jump into that rut. So smooth. That's an insane first-person view as we see him make a move on Maverick Snyder. But Snyder is not giving up. He's going to have the drive up the hill. Does he hold on to it?
Leitzel got kicked really awkwardly going up that hill. I don't know if he was maybe trying to lay a scrub in or just didn't get the drive correct. But yeah, that was close there in a fight with Snyder. Snyder gets it right back. Meanwhile, Partolo and Matherly going at it, coming down the hill behind these two. And they're having their own fight, trying to figure out who's going to come out on the better end of 5th. Matherly's got a good run at the uphill. Going to try to scrub this triple. Not quite close enough yet to make anything happen on Partolo, but really pushing the envelope, trying to get around the 52. As Leitzel goes back to the drawing board to try to get around the 332 of Maverick Snyder. They're still all chasing Tharp in P2, just a little bit up the road. And then your leader is Seth Carr going down the rollers off the top of the hill right now. Probably our best fight, though, is this Partolo-Matherly battle. And it seems like Matherly maybe isn't running the fastest laps every single lap, but he's just doing consistently good lap times to keep him right in the mix with these guys.
Yeah, and what's funny is I think that they're just slowly gaining. Where they're at right now, the gap from second to first is 10 seconds. Matherly is in 6th, only 16 seconds off the lead. So 6 seconds from him up to second, as we could see them all in this shot right here as they go down the hill.
I think Leitzel just made a pass again on Snyder.
I think so. Partolo went
Tharp?
Tharp?
Yeah,
went
Tharp was
off the track. Sorry, you get it, Kellen.
No, yeah, he went off the track and slides back to 4th now, just in front of his teammate Partolo. And then Matherly lost a little bit of ground on Partolo, so they'll continue their fight. Meanwhile, Leitzel did get that pass completed. He is now up to 2nd. These guys are 14 seconds off the lead. Seth Carr battling with each other has really kind of hampered him, I think, at this point in time with their performance and being able to close that gap down, because everyone was 208s, 209s, and Seth Carr laid in a 206.9 last time by for one of the fastest laps on the track. So I think these guys have got to start working together a little bit. Otherwise, Carr is just going to continue to run and hide away at the front of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, though. If it ain't almost 20 seconds, I'm not feeling comfortable if I'm out there on the track trying to get away, because one fall-off crash can cause you between 8 to 12 seconds. Hell, even more if it happens going down one of these giant downhills that we're going to see Maverick Snyder come down right here. If you start cartwheeling and flipping, it's going to be a little while till you can get on the bike, and then you're not going to have a drive up a hill, especially on these 250s. So just really impressive riding by all these guys. And Matherly, Snyder tries to give him the biscuits, does not really make that triple there. I think Cade is doing great. He doesn't need to go up and get the win. He just needs to slowly stay consistent, let these guys make mistakes. If he ends up with a 1-2, he's still pulling points on every single person that's around him, and he's going to be fine. He doesn't need to try to put in blazing speed and just keep making passes. He's exactly fine, perfectly fine where he is.
Yep, 204.9 just laid down by Seth Carr in the race lead as this battle continues to rage on, man. Maverick Snyder giving Logan Leitzel everything he can handle, and they have dropped Partolo. Matherly has moved up to 5th around Tharp. He's 23 seconds off the lead, And Leitzel, as much as he's pushing, as much as everything's kind of coming together for the 3 to get into second place, Maverick Snyder does not care one bit about what number is on the back of that jersey and how many championships Logan Leitzel has won in this game. He wants to mix it up, and a 4-3 performance is good, but a 4-2 looks even better as he maybe even tries to sneak up and start battling for this overall win at the end of the day. And man, oh man, wouldn't that be something if Maverick Snyder not only lands on the box in this moto, but overall as well.
Yeah, that would be just an amazing finish to his day. Maverick Snyder, as we go on board with him right now, trying to make this move, gap down under 1 second. We see him railing that inside, just absolutely having great line choice. And this is the most spark we've seen from him. I feel like last week was his kind of breakout ride. And he's like, you know what? I can do it. He's gotten great starts in the last 2 motos today. And he's like, you know what? I have the speed. I can do it. Why not me type mentality. And I think he's just going to keep pushing as we come up to the halfway point in this moto. I'm really surprised and excited for Maverick and the performances that he's put in the last 2 rounds so far. But he's looking great, and man, it would be awesome to see him sneak away with an overall win here as his first overall ever in this class.
Yeah, so to update you guys right now, it's a 9-1 for our race winner at the moment in this one for Seth Carr. Cade Matherly's looking at a 1-5, which would be enough to get it done, I believe, as it runs. Braden Tharp on a 2-6. Austin Partlow, who is 3rd in the first moto, is 4th right now, so he's looking at a 3-4. Snyder's looking at a 4-3. You beat Partlow there, obviously. And then from there, it's kind of just down to that group. Logan Leitzel was 6th in the first moto. He's 2nd right now. So, I don't know. I feel like this is an opportunity for Maverick Snyder if things go awry for Cade Matherly at any point of this. You know, a 4-2 getting 2nd in this moto could somehow still sneak you the overall win if Cade Matherly has a little bit of problems. Maybe in the midpoint of this race, slips behind Tharp and Show and a few other people. So, yeah, this is good stuff out of Snyder, and he might even get Leitzel right here for 2nd. Oh, he almost got it and goes down. Oh, just was about ready to make it happen and falls off the bike. Partlow goes by. He is going to get going just before Matherly gets there. There's Matherly on the 25. But man, oh man, poor Maverick Snyder. That was going so well until it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, he had that pass made, and I think it was just a little bit of maybe trying to make it a little too hard. He's kind of rushing it, right, and trying to also not make contact with the other rider right there. He's trying to turn maybe a little bit more inside and just gets caught up. It's a off camber, kind of tilting away G out section that goes back uphill. It's a really weird turn right there and just gets kicked right there. But man, he definitely has some pressure coming up right behind him. What he needs to do is settle back down and just get back into flow, because I do think he can get back up there and pressure for 2nd place again.
So Matherly is now putting the heat onto Maverick Snyder in a battle for what is 4th place on the racetrack. And Matherly talked about it at the beginning of the moto, just trying to limit the damage as much as possible. That Seth Carr is returning the favor to him after that first moto performance. I believe that Matherly was 12 points behind Seth Carr in the championship, or was it 10, 12?
He was 9-12 or 10-12, so he was either 9 or 10, I think.
Whoa, that was close as Snyder slid out and by goes Matherly. So now up into 4th. So in the first moto alone, if I have it right, with a 9th place finish, Seth Carr would have finished on 12 points. And Matherly obviously on 25 for the win. That's a 13-point swing. He would have taken over the championship lead, I believe, by a 3-point margin or so, somewhere in that area. Now finishing 4th with Seth Carr in the lead of this moto. That is a 7-point swing in the other direction. So that would be Seth Carr retaking the championship lead, at least as it runs right now. There's still the chance for it to change. And just like that, even Austin Partlow just went down. So now Matherly's sitting in the 3 spot, looking at 45 points on the day, going 25 points in the first moto and 20 points right now, as Seth Carr still sitting on what would be 37 points, and that would be a switch over of 8 points between the two of them, getting this championship gap a little bit tighter.
You're so good at math. Impressive. Big math pod here. Matherly just having a great ride right here. This is exactly what he needed to do after having not the most impressive start to this one, but still being in grasp. Is even if you're going to let Carr go and get away with the lead, is just go and slowly move your way up, put yourself on the podium. If you finish every time on the podium, you're probably going to win this championship. So really, even though he might be losing points now after or for where he's at, just go ahead and minimize that, and you can say, okay, I went from 9, 10, 12 back, and now I'm 2 or 3 back. You know, it's just you're still going to be making some gains right here as long as you work your way up, and I think consistency is just key, and that's what we saw a little crack in his armor in the first moto, but this second moto is a really good comeback ride that I'm really impressed with, and it's cool that we got to see our top three guys kind of have bounce back rides after only Cade had a good one really in that first moto.
Yeah, Matherly's doing a pretty good job, like we said, of limiting the damage and making sure. Oh, Snyder goes down out of 4th right behind him as he goes over that inside rut, probably. And he's going to lose at least 1 spot there. Partolo went by. He is going to get going on the track, though, ahead of Tyler Show, who's now coming down the hill in 6th. Braden Tharp not having a good second moto right here, and for a guy that started up with that lead battle, to slip back to 7th is not really where he was hoping to find himself. He's in a good fight here with Jax Lindsay. Jax Lindsay is also having another good day in this second moto and just fighting up here with these guys, battling it out. But I feel like if you're Tharp and you walk away with a battle for the moto win in the first moto with Matherly, you're not going to be too stoked in this second moto to slip back to 7th and kind of hang out here.
Yeah, I mean, you were the only person in the running for that race and for the race win in Moto 1, and I think he had the speed and he knows he had it, and I don't know if sometimes you're just kind of like getting tired or you're losing focus and you just kind of lose it in second moto because he started up there again and just a couple falls and maybe losing focus, and he's so far back now, and it's probably hard for him to settle back in and get back to where he wants to be. This is a completely different ride than we saw in the first race so far today, and it's a little bit sad. It sucks to see because the way that Tharp was riding and how he was challenging Cade in that first race, I really thought we were going to see something special out of him, and it just seems like he's back to his kind of old self, just making mistakes as we see him fall down there. No, he does lose multiple spots. Those are all positions, and he moves all the way back to 11th as Heilman and Lindsay and Brune all get by him.
Yeah, now he's just caught in the thick of a battle with a lot of these guys here. There's a bunch jumping off of that big quad, and sneaky slides through all those guys to get around. It's going to be up on the inside of Heilman here, not able to remake that pass, but
it's a 7 through 12 right here.
Yeah, this is crazy. This
From
fight.
Cooper all the way back.
Lucas Brune, Braden Tharp, John Heilman right here battling it out with Tharp as they're going to go side by side off of that scrub single, and Tharp looked like he was maybe going to pull up alongside on the outside line, and then Heilman said, no, I'm going to scrub this thing as hard as I possibly can and keep you at bay. As they continue their fight, inside for Tharp, outside for Heilman. Both work out pretty evenly as Heilman gets a slightly better drive up the uphill here. And they both land on that rear tire, and they're putting the heat on Jeff Cooper, Lucas Brune coming down the downhill. This is probably the best fight on the track right now. These guys are separated by no more than a few seconds, maybe 6 seconds total from the front of this group. Tyler Show all the way back to the back of it. Max Wilczek in 11th. So yeah, this is close, man. If you're Tharp here, you're also trying to maximize your points haul after the first moto went so well. Jeff Cooper putting the heat on you.
Yeah, you got to take the pressure that you're getting put on you right now, and just you got to revitalize yourself. You're 22 minutes into this race. You need to get yourself out of this battle. As we see Heilman, these guys are just slingshotting back and forth, outside and inside lines galore, back and forth. Heilman drops the spot again, but we'll see the outside line. He's going to jump and get it back. So these guys are pretty much just using so many different lines. They're passing each other back and forth. But if you're Tharp, you need to get out of this and settle back into some lap times because, I mean, you can't get stuck outside the top 10 after almost winning the first race of the day, as he is now separating from that little back group right now as he's chasing down Lucas Brune. So, and Brune goes OT over the bars right there. He tucks his front end going into that rut, and that's going to allow this group to get him or get by him. And now Braden Tharp has a little bit of breathing room right now, and 6 seconds or 3 seconds up from where he is up to Tyler Show, so he can hopefully kind of take a deep breath over this big quad right here and settle back in and try to keep moving forward.
Yeah, just a little rear end kick there, but nothing that's really going to unsettle him too much, and back to the 7th position that we saw him in not too long ago. So things are pretty spread out at the front. This is our race leader, Seth Carr. We're checking in with him again. Been a minute since we've done that. He crashed last time by the looks of it, 2:17.1. Meanwhile, Logan Leitzel just laid in a 2:10.2, so 7 seconds gained right there, but still a 16-second advantage for Seth Carr in this first position on his way to, I believe, what would be his 4th moto win of the season, as he's been very solid to start the year, obviously holding the red plate and looks to continue holding it despite a rough first moto here tonight. Gets around some lap traffic and continues on his way. Logan Leitzel, haven't really talked about him much since the early parts of this race, but just clicking off the lap still, trying to keep it as close as possible. And Awood, if you're a betting man here, we got 6 minutes left plus 2 laps. Does it get close at any point, or are we just in for the long haul with this fight? The top 3 are just about settled in at this point.
So Seth Carr did just drop 7 seconds that last lap around, but I am still going to say no. I honestly think these fights up front are kind of going to be settled. It's 15 seconds from first to second and pretty much 30 seconds back from first to third. So these guys are all 15 seconds apart about. And I honestly think that even if they make mistakes, they're probably going to average out. And I really don't think this gets close. And it kind of sucks because the good thing is Maddely is only a couple seconds ahead of Parlow in 4th. So we got some battles as we were just watching back around 10th place as well. But I think these 3 championship leaders, they kind of settle in their spots here. And I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, Matherly, like you said, he's still got some pressure from behind. Parlow's about 2 seconds behind him as they go through this sweeping corner in the back around the trees. Here's Maverick Snyder in 5th, and then Braden Tharp has clawed his way up to 6th. So Tharp still has an outside shot of getting all the way to 5th in this moto, and a 2.5 might just keep Maverick Snyder off the box today as we look at Matherly once again. But yeah, it is pretty spread out. It's kind of weird how fast it got to that point as well, because I feel like we were seeing some battles going everywhere on the racetrack, and suddenly you look back and you're like, oh, top 6 is really spread out. And it's not just Carr that's gone. It's suddenly a 14-second gap to Leitzel and another 14 seconds to Matherly. And as you said, it's just not really materialized into that great of racing this time around this moto. We have a great first moto and a little bit of a snoozer of a second moto, but that's okay, man. We're going to have motos like that this year. And as we said about Payson Johnson in his first moto on the 450, you also have to respect that Seth Carr, after a very rough first moto, put it behind him, came out here guns blazing, gets a good start, gets into the lead early, and is really just taking off.
Yeah, I mean, he really just is giving these guys the business right now after he had to have been stressed out, pissed off, want to go back, whether you're practicing or sometimes you just need to take a break and you just kind of reset your mental. And I think that's what Seth Carr has done right now and got off to a great start, was able to work his way up front, and he's riding his own race. And it doesn't seem like he's trying to push too crazy. I mean, he just maybe lost a second to Logan, but I don't think that matters. You've got 3 minutes plus 2 laps to go right now as time's ticking down past our 27th minute. And he feels comfortable where he's at. He's riding smooth. No one else is really catching him. It's not that you've got this Payson Johnson guy going 4 seconds a lap faster behind you. At best, he thinks they might be able to catch me a second, maybe 2 if I make a mistake. So just a great rebound ride by him, and that's what you need to do if you're going to win a championship and keep this red plate. So really good ride by him. We saw one of the best 250 motos in a long time in the first race, and then this one, a little bit of a snooze fest for the guys up front, but hey, all 3 of the championship contenders, all 3 on the top 3 spots of this race, so good on all of them.
Yep, so Seth Carr checks in another lap in the lead. We're at about less than 3 minutes to go, almost 2 minutes left to go on the clock, plus those 2 laps for race leader Seth Carr. Logan Leitzel's pretty much hovered around the same mark between the 2 of them, 206.9, 206.8 for Leitzel as he just goes across the line behind him in second place, 15.1 seconds back. And then exactly another 15 seconds back to this man right here. Cade Matherly checks in. He will also go to, let's see, a 209 that time by for Matherly. And another 15 seconds back to this man, Austin Parlow. coming up to the finish line jump in 4th. So it is certainly very spread out amongst these top groups a little bit. Tyler Show not too far away right now. Here from Max Wilczek. Max Wilczek starting to put a pretty good race together here for iSpec. Crazy hashtag he's got going on right there, but still a good ride, putting the heat on Tyler Show, and this is right now our battle for 7th, and maybe the closest one on the track inside the top 10.
Yeah, the best battle that we got right there, and a small mistake by Show is going to let Wilczek get right up on the rear wheel there. You like that hashtag. You showed us some sound effects before, but man, look at this move. I like going inside and outside over that jump. Look at the speed right there. Wilczek tries to cut him off at the exit, and he does. He doesn't really get there to cut him off, but he is going to take the position away from Show as he puts him on the ground. It's kind of bad luck for Show to kind of have your front wheel ahead of the other guys, but you get pretty much cleaned out from behind. A bummer for Show to go down there, but still a great race that he's been putting on so far, man. He's been fighting and just kind of always around that 10th place position. Just lost that a little bit there as he's fell back to 9th, and Lucas Brune got by, but still a great ride by Tyler Show, and that's him and his teammate Spencer Turley matching.
Yeah, not often you see someone use their front end as a battering ram in this game, and it doesn't result in front end lock or slide out or something like that. So honestly, I feel like that was almost lucky that Wilczek made that happen, but he does get by Tyler Show in the end. Lucas Brune also went by, and Wilczek goes down on the backside of the quad right after that. So kind of turnabout fair play a little bit. Contact results in the rider he was battling going down, and then he goes down all by himself. Lucas Brune went by, and our lead battles are still quite separated. 13.5 seconds now between Leitzel and Carr, but pretty unlikely that materializes into a battle as we've passed time. I think they crossed before the timer clicked over, so we still have 3 laps to go here. Looking back to another battle, Race Cobble battling with Colin Holden, and this is a fight for 11th. They're right behind John Heilman going up the hill on that Kawasaki in 10th. So another, we always talk about it. You go through the field, you look at these battles happening, and you and I, in our careers, had many battles like this. You're just a whole moto in a fight with someone, and if you can end it with a top 10 after being 12th or 14th the whole moto, you're like, something to hang my hat on other than just looking at another 13th place finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was... I had national number maybe 3 or 4 years in a row, but there's maybe only 2 years that I feel like I was consistently inside the top 10, and that's where I wanted and expected to be. And you kind of set yourself on a number, and sometimes it's not always the round number. I want a top 10, I want a 15th. I talk about this as they just make another pass right there. I think that was a rider down. I talk about sometimes you're in 21st place, and you look at the map, and you talk to your spotter, your friends, and you say, where is this place? Okay, I can get to whoever that is. And so sometimes you're like, give me 13th. All I want is 13th, and this will feel like a win for me. And you set your expectations kind of after where you start and reset them. So then it doesn't come in at the beginning of the race being like, ooh, Race Cobble gets a pass right there as a rider goes down in front of him. But it allows you to have your expectations going into the race, but then reset your expectations after a good or a bad start. And just kind of trying to set something for you to chase. So it's cool that these guys are fighting tooth and nail to the death for 35, 36. The first race that we watched went 38 minutes before the guys in 13th or 14th place finished. So it's man, these guys are fighting, and some of them going to be their career best. They're never going to get a better finish than where they're at. Not that Race Cobble hasn't done that. He's a great racer, but there are guys in the field. Anytime you see a 3-digit or it's a name we haven't heard of, it could always be their best performance ever, just like what Maverick Snyder's been doing.
Yep, and Race Cobble got around John Heilman, who went down. Max Wilczek still battling Tyler Show, and this is ding, 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 round 2. You almost want to say this a little bit right here between these two.
So round 2.
Yeah, round 2's coming up. Wilczek versus Show. They hit each other at the top of the hill, and now they're fighting coming down the hill. Wilczek gets sideways, goes off the track, and gets on just as Race Cobble gets there. So now Cobble's going to try to take advantage, get up alongside Wilczek at the top of the hill. He launches to the inside and makes a beautiful pass in the end. Wilczek has no idea what hit him. They came up and passed him quickly right there. Ooh, we got a barrel roll at the top of the hill
Race
too.
Cobbles might not know what's about to hit him with Wilczek coming up his inside. Let's see if he makes a crazy pass again. Looks like he's going to keep it clean so far, but Wilczek not scared to throw it in there. There's a little bit of cross jump. Woo! Almost going all the way inside. Race Cobble going to live to fight another corner, as this is just allowing Show to get away from the man who murdered him in this corner 2 laps ago. Wilczek losing touch a little bit on Race Cobble right here after was kind of moving up just a teeny tiny bit.
Yeah, this is an ever-going fight, and they're still going to deal with Tyler Show up the road a little bit, I feel like, before this is over. Seth Carr, by the way, had a 2:13.3 last time by, and Leitzel was inching up to him, and then Leitzel looks like he either went down or made a mistake because it's right back out to 18 seconds again. So almost had a fight going on for the win, but it's not going to materialize. Seth Carr takes the white flag out front. That lap timer goes to white at the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And this fight continues on, man. Race Cobble and Max Wilczek going at it. Don't look now. Colin Holden's hanging out in the background looking for his first top 10 of the season, as these guys are just continuing to fight. Tyler Show just up the road of them. Lucas Brune not too far ahead of him either. And so any of these guys could have an opportunity to get as high as even maybe 8th or 7th place before this thing is done. And I feel like they're all up in the ante in these final few laps to try to make that happen.
Yeah, this battle from 8th to 11th on your screen is pretty much the closest that on the racetrack. And these guys just fighting to the death, man. Last lap is going on. The leader crossed way ahead of them. So they've got pretty much a lap and a half to go. And, man, they are just fighting to get to the top 10. Oh, and that's a rider down. Wilczek goes down and slides out. So Holden's going to get the position and move into the top 10 right there, as he's still chasing Show and Cobble ahead of him. Lucas Brune a little bit further up, not completely untouchable as well as a lapper, but this group of 3 right here, they're trying to keep moving, and they do not want to give up. They've been battling for so long. Why give it up this late in the race?
Yeah, this is going to come all the way to the checkered flag between Race Cobble, Tyler Show, and now Colin Holden has found his way into 10th position.
Battle for 4th.
Battle for 4th also going on.
Tharp
Maverick Snyder as Tharp goes by him. And Tharp now in a position where he is probably going to lock down 2nd place overall with that 2-4. Leitzel on a 6-2 isn't going to get it. So Tharp probably just earned himself 2nd place overall with that pass on Maverick Snyder. Well done to him. There's Matherly, there is Leitzel, and there is Seth Carr still cruising in the race lead. We'll get back to this battle. Race Cobble and Tyler Show still going at it, and there's Colin Holden in the background. Max Wilczek just took somebody out. I don't know who that was.
The other person tried to take him out up the inside and blew it, and Wilczek survived around the outside of him. But Wilczek trying to put himself back into this fight. And
is it Wilczek or is it
not?
That's a lapper?
That's a lapper.
And it's a lapper that takes out Colin Holden, who's in 10th and trying to get his first top 10 of the season. Meanwhile, race winner Seth Carr takes Moto 2. I was hoping I'd get back to him in time. Didn't quite get there. Logan Leitzel looks like he's going to wrap up 2nd in this Moto. And with it, maybe a podium. We'll have to calculate overalls here in a second. Leitzel's 2nd, but the overall winner on the day, not going to be enough, I think, to get the red plate back, but a huge step towards getting there in the first place. Cade Matherly takes high point with a 1-3 overall on the day. A nice nose wheelie down the hill. There's Tharp, who looks like he's on his way to 2nd overall with 2-4 scores. Maverick Snyder, a solid day, 2 top 5 finishes. Partolo, Brune, and then this Cobble Show battle that just will not end. Cobble a mistake, and Tyler Show wants to get it back as they come off of this single jump down the hill. Inside line for Show, outside for Cobble. Let's see how it works out. Oh, they're crossing lines up, and they both kind of teeter into that corner a little bit. Does Show have a line picked out here in these last few?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done, but I think he's going to send it no matter what. He's got to try to make the move late. If you're this close, why not send it unless you're really going for an overall or something? Look at this, down the outside. He's going to be all the way up against those yellow stakes. He's going to dive bomb all the way to the outside, rail around, see if he can get the drive up here over the double. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get it, but Cobble's holding on, jumping to the inside. Does Show do anything? I think he's just going to lay up, try to get as close as possible, and pray that cuts go. Finishes 4/10 behind. Colin Holden, he is going to end up 10th place, which is awesome because he was knocked out of that position by that lapper that took him out. Is going to hold on to 10th over Heilman in 11th. Wilczek fell all the way back to 12th place right now. He's going to come across, jumping all alone by himself. No, in 12th? Wait.
Yeah, 12th. And then 13th for Dylan Dallaire and 14th for Joey Carter. Amazingly, I mean, Seth Carr had a great moto here, but we were talking so much about how well Payson rode in that first moto, and Seth Carr lapped all the way up past 15th place. So Joey Carter, 14th, last guy on the lead lap. Seabold, 15th, Vanderkoy, 16th, Jeff Cooper, 17th, Cepeda, 18th, Jackson Vick 19th, and Jack Gatland was 20th. We'll wait and see if anything changes up front, but right now it does appear Cade Matherly has won this overall and confirmed 1-3 results on the day. Gets the overall win for the number 25 on the Twizy Honda. Great ride for the 25 of Cade Matherly. Leitzel, Seth Carr up here as well. Tharp, we believe, gets on the box. And yeah, a couple close battles all the way to the flag. Well done, Colin Holden, getting on his top 10 performance there. And Seth Carr takes Moto 2.
Yeah, outdoors is crazy. Sometimes we're trying to highlight a battle for 8th place, and they the leader finishes pretty much 3/4 of a lap ahead of them. But that's just the way it goes sometime in outdoors. So really good race by them, man. Seth Carr, that's a great answer back ride from him right there after having struggles in the first moto. Him, Leitzel, Matherly showing that they're going to be the three that are going to try to take this championship down to the end. And, man, great overall right there by Cade. 1-3. I did that before one time. It was lucky. It's kind of scary, but got to make it happen. Kellen's leaving the room right now, so I'll be taking you guys through just a little bit of a preview before we get to this second 450 moto. Gonna try to see what can happen. Is Payson Johnson, and I want to know in chat if you guys think, do you guys think Payson Johnson goes out and dominates again, or does he kind of show some cracks in his armor, and does anyone else try to get up there and challenge him? Because I honestly think I think he needs a top 3 start and to get into the lead early in order to kind of check out the way that he did in that first moto. But I think if he starts back, he could still win the race like we saw at Paula, but I don't know if he's going to be able to have the speed and the consistency to kind of go and check out. Once Kellen gets back, I'll get his see what his take on it right now. But man, Carr was up 10 points coming in the night, and he takes that and doesn't extend it, but doesn't lose many. So Kellen, I was just asking, do you think if Payson doesn't start inside like the top 3, do you think he still is able to get out front and dominate and maybe win by like 20 more seconds? Or do you think he gets stressed out starting, a little bit back in the pack? And yeah, he might be able to come up and win, but I don't think he's able to work his way up through the pack quickly if he gets a bad start. I think it kind of frustrates him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, and it's one that we'll have to see how it develops throughout the year, because so far, no. It seems like when he doesn't start right at the sharp end of the field, he's able to get into the lead and take off. That's not to say that he wouldn't do it this moto. If he starts 10th, he could easily take off with the win still, but we haven't seen it yet this year. He seems to start 20th and take a little bit to get up to the lead group, or start way back and charge all the way up to 2nd or 3rd by the end. We'll see, though, whether or not that narrative changes throughout the year, because so far he's clearly been the guy. He's been the guy that all these guys have to beat. So as he gets bad starts like that and has to come through the field, it might also turn into a situation where these guys, when they're getting passed by Payson, don't necessarily make it easy for him either.
Yeah, I think they're going to start not rolling over. I think he just has troubles early on because in making his way up, obviously Paula, he won by like a minute and a half, and then second moto, he started way back and came all the way back to win. So like, it's not impossible. It's just, I think the problem is he's too fast. I think when he starts in like 10th or 15th place, he's too fast for the guys around him, and he gets himself into trouble. And I don't know. It's weird. I wonder if we're going to see a ride where he's able to start back there, but his starts are so good and consistent. If he's ever going to start back in like 10th, get through in a lap or two, and still check out, I think that'll be interesting, because I think we've only seen the big checkout rides from maybe top 2, 3, 4 start. So, I mean, all of this is me just saying Payson's probably going to win no matter where he starts, whether it's 30th or 1st, but by how much?
Yep. We'll see what happens right now? Looks like the overalls for the 250 class was Cade Matherly with a 1-3, Braden Tharp with a 2-4, and Seth Carr looks like 9-1 should be enough to get Logan Leitzel with a 6-2, because that would pretty much even out to the same amount of points. But yeah, pretty.
3-6 for fifth and a 4-5 for sixth for Mav. That is,
I know, poor Maverick Snyder.
Tough.
Like on the verge of getting his first podium in the moto and overall, and ends up 6th overall.
Yeah, I mean, 2 top 5s. Yeah, he was trying to make a pass for second, falls back to 5th. Still a great ride. You got 5th place. You know what, Maverick Snyder, you're my new favorite rider, and everyone else.
Who's getting this whole shot? Brought to you by the Design Lab Co. Andrew
You
Wood.
suck. Design Lab Co. whole shot pick is going to be. I'm gonna run it back because I think he barely missed it. I think Alexis Leclerc is gonna get a great start, the best kind of start, a whole shot, and he's gonna have a little bounce back moto as well. How about you, Kellen?
I want to pick Hubbard, but I like your Leclerc pick. I'm going to go Payson Johnson. I think he rips a start this time, but let's find out, folks. Final moto of the night. It's 450 Moto 2 from High Point, and it's off and running. A good jump for Hubbard in the middle on the 78. Leclerc's also got a nose up there. Johnson's going to get to the corner right behind these guys, swinging way wide with someone on a Yamaha, and this time it is Alexis Leclerc picking up the Design Lab Co. whole shot. He's in the lead. It's got Enzo Buttigni right behind him. Jacob Hubbard also in the mix. Seth Shirley finally with a good start on the 2. He's mixing it up. T-Lang's also there, trying to find out where Payson Johnson is and see, did he make it through the first turn or did he go down? It looks like he's about 16th spot as Leclerc leads the field around.
Yeah, you guys didn't see it, but I was just fist pumping for the last 37 seconds because I nailed my Design Lab Co. whole shot award pick, and I hope you guys were out there supporting as well. Alexis Leclerc getting off to a great start, and it's just so weird. It feels like this can be like Seth Carr. You have a really tough first moto. You try to work your way up. You don't really get there. You get just inside like the top 10. Boom, you get a start, you go, and I feel like Leclerc could win this moto. I think that's just the way that these guys, they have so much speed and skill and experience. If you're Leclerc, been around for at least 11, 12 years here, and he's a past champion, and he's got a good gap. Payson Johnson's all the way back in 9th. I think Leclerc needs to throw in some heaters, and I mean, there's no one else on the screen right now. Now you see the people chasing him, but I just think Leclerc needs to get going, and he's put himself in the best position he could.
We just talked about it as to Payson Johnson not getting a good start, and this time he's got to work way up from about, I think he was about 11th or 12th when I first saw his name. He's already in 8th, and so if that's going to be a ride where he goes through these guys and wins this moto, look out for the rest of the field. This is going to be a long summer if that's how Payson Johnson's going to do it, going through guys like Trevor Burns, Enzo Buttigni, Jacob Hubbard, Noah Bindis, Colby Eaglin's up here. So these are big names, and obviously Leclerc leadings. We had sick dualies. Buttigni almost touched heads with Jacob Hubbard and then hit the inside bail right there. Oh gosh, crossing over there with Eaglin. You also got Noah Bindis, and there is Johnson on the 51 over the finish line jump. But yeah, now Payson's got some work to do. Let's see how he handles it.
Yeah, I mean, look at this train of riders right here. We might see some touch and tips over the quad if they stay this close all the way back up to that whip jump. But look at the speed Payson Johnson has, just going about 10 miles per hour faster than everyone else as he makes the move past Bindis. He's going to get another position, just knock that off. That's up into 6th place. Now he is chasing. Look at the riders in front of him. Eaglin and Buttigni, he's coming up on them so fast. And I honestly think this is he needs to get up front, up to 2nd, and just see how close he is to Leclerc and then put the hammer down, because the speed that he has on this track is unmatched, and this feels a lot like Paul Kellen.
Yeah, it does. I mean, he's just on rails already, leaning off the back of this bike and just finding lines where it doesn't seem like there's anything, banking off of little notches, little ruts here and there, trying to get to the inside here on Enzo Buttigni, not able to get there just yet. And Buttigni through the front door goes in. Oh, that was close for Payson Johnson not to get hit right there. But yeah, moves up into 5th now already, and we're only on lap 2 of this race. So there's plenty of time for Payson Johnson to make this moto his once again, as they're all still giving chase to the fast Frenchman, 5-time national champion in this game, Alexis Leclerc. Let me think, 2014, 2018, 19, 20, and 23, I believe, were Leclerc's national championships. 5-time national champion.
He's a sicko.
He is a sicko. He's on sicko mode out here.
And
I'll tell you what.
He has lost though to Payson Johnson. So I mean, it's crazy. Honestly, I'm gonna go hot take, and I'm also, ooh, he fell. Payson Johnson went down, and he fell all the way back to 7th place. I was just about to say Payson Johnson was 8 seconds off the lead. I thought he was going to get into the lead and he was going to win by 30 seconds. That was what I was going to call. But with that tip over, I don't know. I think he has these small struggles. He could still easily win the race. I'm not putting that out of it because of the speed that he has. But I think when he ends up behind these guys, whether it's running into a rider that goes down and he's going so fast he can't avoid them, or he's so much faster than them. He tries to make a move, but he doesn't really work his way through. I don't know, man. I think he just struggles when he starts back a little bit, and he might still be the race winner, but I don't see him getting into the lead and checking out, which is kind of my two scenarios I was throwing out earlier. I would like to see him, though, put some clean laps together and work his way back through these people. At least we get to see some action with Payson instead of just domination.
Yeah, nice little move down the inside right there. Goes back into 6th around Enzo Buttigni, who laid it down. You got Ethan Gerst also with a good start up here, battling it out inside the top 5. Colby Eagland is 4th. Hubbard 3rd, and Trevor Burns in 2nd as he drops down the hill, banging off that outside rut. These guys are 5 seconds off of race leader Alexis Leclerc, and they're in their own little duel as well. See what Payson's able to accomplish. There is Enzo Buttigni, and then a good fight here between Anthony Pichon, and he's battling it out with Tyler Lang. So Lang was up ahead in this group, kind of inside the top 5, and must have either fallen or slipped back somehow to the 9 spot. Darwin Tomic rounding out the top 10. Another rough update in this moto. Looks like the 2 of Seth Shirley is either out of this moto or dead last. He is in 40th place. I'm not 100% sure if he's still circulating on the track, but started in 4th place and is now 40th. I talked to Seth, I think, last week after the motos, and really he's just been so frustrated about his luck, man. He just keeps getting hit by people, hitting other riders, opening laps, putting him well down the order, and then when he's clawing through the field, just little mistakes here and there and can't quite get the results we know and expect out of the number 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I've had years where I've done, and you too, you're really good and you're really consistent at starts. You've got a technique down and your reaction time is on point, but little baby doolies. But there's times where your starts just aren't the same, and he's only ridden the 450 in Supercross a little bit, and he did really good. But starting in outdoors, every single track is different. The traction is different. Your technique is different. It's all about what gear, the technique, the power wheeling, all that stuff. And I honestly think it's just a little bit of a struggle for him. And you can blame your luck, but honestly, there's people that start inside the top 3 every time. So Jacob Hubbard in Supercross doesn't have to complain about luck. Even him on the 250, Shirley on the 250 in Supercross doesn't need luck because he's got such good technique and is so consistent. And I think he'll figure it out. It's just like his rookie season nerves in the 450 class, because there's a reason we can call Jacob Hubbard, Alexis Leclerc, Payson Johnson for hole shots, and they're normally inside the top 3, top 5. And there's reasons that sometimes you see Adam Holm up there, and then sometimes you see him in 30th, because you're going down 3 out of 4 times, and then one time you get a good start. But that's just the struggle that Seth Shirley's having right now, and it's something that he's just got to learn, I think, on the 450.
Yeah, and I mean, he'll get there. We fully expect him to be in the hunt for a 450 Supercross title next season, but we'll see whether he can kind of figure it out in the second half of this moto to charge his way forward. He's already 37th, so made a few passes.
Yeah.
Let's get back up to our leader, Alexis Leclerc. Check in with him. 6.2 second lead over Trevor Burns, 206.4 last time by. And I think for Leclerc at this point in time, it's really just about hitting your marks. It's kind of like what Seth Carr had to happen to him in the 250 class. The first moto didn't go his way, but we knew that the speed was there if he could get a start. Leclerc's got a start, manage the gap, get out front, and try to hold it from here, because we know Payson Johnson's going to get up there at some point, but if he's already gone 15 seconds, it's going to be pretty hard for Johnson to do anything about Leclerc. So if you're Leclerc, do not crash, put your laps in, stay out front as long as you can.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help though it doesn't help if you're pacing when Leclerc just put down the fastest lap of anybody on the track. So it's like, we know pacing can probably go faster, but when it's maybe half a second and the time keeps going down that's left in the race, you're eventually going to run out of time. And we've seen it before from pacing. And I think this moto is just Leclerc's to lose. And he knows it. He's been in this position and he doesn't give up wins like this. I feel when Leclerc gets out front and he's got a decent lead, even though it's not over my like 10-second, 20-second gap for a fall or two, I honestly still think he's going to be pretty comfortable. And unless something big happens, I don't know if pacing can get him just by working his way through. I think it's going to take him too far to get up into second and get free reign, especially because Trevor Burns is so close. But he did just get in the third, Payson did, past Colby Eaglin. So he's got some time to just throw in some heaters and try to catch him. I think we'll have to check in about 2 or 3 laps, see where he's at, and kind of go from there.
I want to give a shout out to Idaho Dirtbiker 829 in the chat for resubbing once again. It's his 5th month subscribing with us, and I really appreciate the support out of Idaho, Potato Land up there, giving us some love every single month of the year. So thank you so much, Idaho Dirtbiker. Appreciate the support.
Tonight. Huh? He helped dinner tonight.
Yeah, we had some great potatoes for dinner, and courtesy of the Dirt Bike Nation up there in Idaho. Thank you so much, good sir. So Leclerc continues to lead. Here's Trevor Burns in second. He is 5.7 seconds back, so he's actually caught Leclerc a little bit. And Johnson's up to third now. And I feel like he saw that Leclerc went 2:05.8, or 2:05.1, I should say, and went like, yeah, nah, I'm going to take that back. This lap looks like he's cooking a good one together. 2:05.8 for Leclerc this last time by. Johnson lays in at a 2:03.3. Oh my goodness. That man's not right in the head, I'll tell you that.
He is absolutely crazy, Kellen. 2:03.3 by him is just absolutely insane after chasing guys who dropped a 2:05 and a 2:04. You're like, okay, dude, I'm in the 2:04s. Like, I'm not getting caught. My name's Trevor Burns and I'm a badass. And then Payson Johnson just goes and kind of drops it on you. Also, shout out Seth Carver in the 2:04 in that last moto, which was insane because the only person to do that since then was Payson Johnson. So to be on the level of him as far as hot laps is pretty crazy. Yeah, I think the boys might be in trouble. I mean, he's still... My timing is so messed up because it says he's 13 seconds back. But...
He is. He's 12.4 seconds back.
He's
yeah.
8 seconds from second. Yeah, I mean, he's still not... He's gaining a little bit, but Trevor Burns is also gaining on Leclerc. So who knows? This might be a tight one here soon in the next couple minutes as Payson's catching Trevor and Trevor's also catching Leclerc. It might be a little 3-wide battle. Get some NASCAR action going on.
Well, I feel like
these guys.
I feel like Leclerc is maybe even starting to sense that things are going to get tight here soon because he's made a couple of mistakes and he put some good laps together. But yeah, that gap is coming down between he and Trevor Burns. Like Burns looks like he is just chipping away, and Leclerc just continues to either make a small bobble, goes off the track right there, gets hung up in the corner. Burns is coming, man, and we know that he's always been fast at these races. Stop it. Oh, my gosh. We know he's always been fast at these races, and we'll see whether or not he can just straight up catch and pass one of the best to ever do it in Alexis Leclerc for the lead before Payson Johnson gets up there and mixes it up with these guys. Johnson now 11 seconds off the lead, and Burns checks in with a 2:03.4 of his own.
Holy shit. Trevor Burns is an absolute freaking animal as he almost goes OTB right there. 2:03.2 by Payson, but Payson Johnson's out here dropping it on him, and then Trevor Burns says, you know what, I'm fast as fuck also, and I'm going to get up here and I'm going to drop it and I'm going to take this freaking win because he is just looking insane. We haven't seen Trevor Burns all year look anything like this, and he is just showing that he is matching the fastest guy that we've ever seen in this game. Absolutely unreal showing by him so far. I'm hoping he can put this together, and these guys might be in the prime of this track where it's just rough enough to kind of get some ruts that hold on to him, but not crazy enough to where they're cartwheeling down some hills.
I mean, if you're Burns too, you're also kind of thinking, look, yeah, Payson could get to second if I win this moto, but at the moment, if I just go catch and pass Leclerc and win this moto, I also win the overall. He was third in the first moto. Leclerc obviously 10th in the first moto, a non-factor in this one. So Burns with a 3-1 would get it done. Johnson is on a 1-3 right now and in a position to win the overall as it stands. But I don't think that that's a foregone conclusion that Johnson gets up here and passes one of these two. And so if you're Burns, you're thinking, okay, if I go get Leclerc, that's the damn overall win right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, you don't need to go up and win, but man, Trevor, he's just in such a good spot, and this is so impressive right now. I love what we're seeing right now, and it's just Leclerc's just coming to him. He's not really having to push too far, and like, I mean, obviously he's pushing, he's throwing down some heaters, but it doesn't feel like he's riding out of his comfort zone. It seems like Leclerc is just slowly falling back into his grasp, and he's gonna get the lead. Dude, he can get the lead by not the finish line, I don't think, but maybe just after where the whole shot line is. Trevor Burns is coming fast, Kellen.
Yes, he is. I'll tell you that. He is cooking up a battle for the lead for us right now. 4 seconds off the lead this time by. Right behind Leclerc, 2:04.2 this time by. Leclerc dips down in the 2:06s. So it's not like Leclerc's going slow. He is still going very fast, but it's just that Burns is going that little bit faster. And now it seems like Leclerc's like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. And now he gives up the lead. He blows the inside rut. Trevor Burns has taken over the race lead here at High Point halfway through the final moto of the day, and now he's sitting in a position to win the overall as it stands.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor Burns, this is just a statement ride. This got to be his first ever win, right?
I think he's won a moto before.
First ever 450 overall, though. Join me and all the other legends. And 450 overalls, Trevor Burns out!
Jesus Christ, Haywood, it's always you, man. You're always giving him love. And he goes down from the lead. Oh, my goodness. And he's going to pick it up still in second. I guess Payson went down. Yeah, Eaglin went by. Good. So Johnson is now into the 4 spot. And Burns is still in a position where he could go win this overall, especially if Leclerc makes another bobble. But, yeah, the question I was asking, Lane, was whether or not Burns has won a moto. I think he's won a moto. Haywood was wondering had he won an overall, but I can't recall that deep back in my memory books. But
I would be surprised for either, though, honestly. Yeah. I mean, national number 40 is nothing to kind of turn your
But he's so fast, man.
He's fucking sick. We haven't seen this, though, all year. He just comes out in the 8th moto of the year and just starts freaking dropping lap times. 2:04, a 2:03.4, which is just off the best lap of the race. Another 2:04. Like, this guy's insane, man. He went down. Luckily, Payson went down right before him. He won a 250 Supercross, never won a moto in 450s, never won anything in 450s, and now he's out here battling with the best of the best. They're going to go down in history, probably Mount Rushmore type MX Sim racers, and he's trying to just straight up beat him right here. And after that fall, only 5 seconds off of Alexis Leclerc. I would love to see Trevor Burns come out and do it, man. This is awesome.
I mean, he crashed and did a 2:12. So, you know, we say fall of crashes 8 to 10 seconds. At worst, he was going to run a 2:04 that time by, I guess. And maybe even into the 2:02s if things went his way. But, yeah, I don't think has any ideas of slowing down right now. He gets it back down to 3 seconds to Leclerc. Rails this outside corner. He is absolutely sending it. Johnson has gotten back around Eaglin into 3rd, but I think all eyes are still on this man, Trevor Burns, and whether he can just straight up run Leclerc down again.
I mean, he is gaining still, and I love watching this onboard, though, because we see just a different way that he attacks the track. He's doing things just a little bit differently as he gets by the spot where he just fell. We see a lot of Payson Johnson kind of cutting up and down, like doing some weird big jumps that other people aren't doing, kind of like a Jet Lawrence type deal, but there's some stuff where he just bulldozes through. The way Trevor Burns has been riding, he's just very, very smooth flowing, keeps it in a little bit of a higher gear here, is riding a lot of the edges of the track and just keeping it smooth. He doesn't really it almost doesn't look fast the way he's doing it. He's just very smooth flowing, whereas Payson Johnson's doing some crazy shit that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So I love watching this man ride right now, and the pace that he's had. He knew he had something special after the first moto, but it didn't look. Oh, look at that! Gets away.
Is that Leclerc?
Leclerc? It is.
Leclerc's down on the inside. It kind of didn't look like him for a second, but he was down on the inside and coughs up the lead to Trevor Burns. So now it is Burns from Leclerc. And now Eagland has gotten back around Payson Johnson. So remember, we talked before this moto, and it wasn't really trying to dog at Johnson at all, but it just seems like when he starts outside of the top 5, give or take, he has these mistakes continually coming through. And I know he crashed a couple times in the first moto, but this is now, 3 crashes in the last 4 or 5 laps out of Johnson. And it's starting to hinder his ability to not only maybe win this overall today, but to even, get some decent points gained on Alexis Leclerc, as Leclerc is holding on to a good, strong second place in this moto.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be mad if you're Leclerc after the pretty abysmal performance in the first moto for most of it. It was pretty bad, and after a bad start, it's you got to take getting a whole shot, going out, leading half the race, and if you can, you just need to stay in front of Payson Johnson and keep this thing on 2 wheels. But it's going to be tricky to do. I mean, Payson is fast, has elite speed right now, and but chasing Colby Eagland, you got to get up there in third if you're Payson. And I think you're going to be happy with that, and you're going to be very happy if you're Leclerc and you finish second, if you can just hold on to that. So these guys both probably just need to move just a little bit more. But yeah, shout out Colby Eagland for his great ride and just kind of staying away from these guys and doing his own thing. He's been very quiet this moto.
Update on Seth Shirley. He has now crawled up to 19th and is in the points. And that's exactly what he needed to get done after a bad start. Looks like Eagland just went down over the backside of that single jump and allowed Payson Johnson back by. Killian Ortiz, by the way, is up into 5th. He's in a good fight with Enzo Buttigni and Tyler Lang. They just continue to battle each other for this 5 spot. That is 6th and 7th side by side on the track right now as Lang gets crossed up. He's trying to repass Buttigni and almost goes down, stands it back up. And the fight continues with Ethan Gerst getting into the mix as well. Pablo Vial running 9th, Jacob Hubbard rounding out the top 10. So that is a good little mix of guys at the front of the field, but we're still just trying to get it all under wraps about whether or not Trevor Burns is going to win this moto, whether or not Trevor Burns is going to win this overall for the first of his career. For a couple of firsts, never won a moto, never won an overall, and sitting in position to do so right now on a 3-1 performance on the day. Now, if you're Payson Johnson, this is lock-in time, right? I feel like this is where we're going to start seeing either the best or the worst of Payson, because he's going to start laying down some good laps or he's going to crash a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're into third. Leclerc, who's, I mean, you're beating him in points, but he's the only competitor near you, is ahead of you, and someone else is ahead of that, taking away the 3-point gap from second to first. So what you need to do is just start dropping lap times. You're 10 seconds away. Look at that timer at the bottom left and see that difference, and just start throwing down some heaters. But this is also where we've seen him kind of implode. He does it to himself, really, and we know he has the speed. He was dropping fast lap times late in the race earlier, and we see him right now with his crazy lines and his crazy speed, but it does normally come out to bite him. It's been half a second, now 1 full second since he was at the wall turn 3 corners ago, and he's caught up to him. If he continues to ride like this, he'll easily get by Leclerc, but the problem is, how long can he ride like this? Second moto, maybe a little stressed, maybe a little tired, without going down and losing spots.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, he might still get Leclerc. I don't think you could put it out of the question. He still wins this race with how fast he is moving right now on this track. And obviously, there's less than 10 minutes to go, only about 7.5 plus 2 laps left on the clock. But that time is just continuing to click down. The biggest problem he has going for him, and Leclerc is now dealing with it, is lap traffic is going to start becoming a real problem here. Leclerc is right behind 3 lapped riders that he's going to have to go through to make sure that Johnson doesn't get up there and start ruffling his feathers. Trevor Burns in the race lead has one that he's catching right now, and then another 2-rider pack up ahead of that. So these guys, while they're dealing with, getting caught or trying to do their own laps, they're going to have to start weaving through guys, and that's going to really affect this race in the latter stages, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you got to watch out for. It could help or hurt you, though, and at different times, it really just depends on where you catch these guys. Luckily, Leclerc is able to make some smooth passes by the lappers, and most of the time they're going to be pretty good But there's something you cannot avoid. We saw that rider 2 ahead of Leclerc goes down. The rider behind him gets into him, and Leclerc cannot stop. So goes down, loses, drops, or lets 2 lappers go by, but then falls back into the grasp of Payson Johnson. Now Payson is going to smell blood in the water, though. It was a lapper makes a mistake. Leclerc or Johnson almost made a mistake and went down. But man, so is he going to push up and just get by him? He has blood in the water, or do you think this might get him overzealous right here and he might make a mistake?
I don't know. We'll see. This is for the overall win, though. If Johnson can get the pass done on Leclerc, jumps in behind him, coming down the hill, trying to carry that patented Payson Johnson speed down to the bottom. Leclerc swings wide to shut the door. But yeah, as much as Johnson wants to take the points away from Leclerc, he also wants to win this race here at High Point. And if he passes Leclerc, a 1-2 performance would be enough to get the overall done on the day. So this is crucial right here, and Leclerc makes a mistake and goes off the track, pushing over the rut and high sides off of the track. So now he's got to go right back to work and get here behind Payson Johnson. But now Johnson has some clean air to set sail and start putting some heaters down in this second position.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, honestly, if he could straight up catch and beat Trevor Burns. If Trevor keeps riding the way that he's been, we're 24 minutes into this race, you guys. There's almost 25, so 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go for these riders on the track. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done, Kellen, but what I am very sad for is Trevor Burns. I really like to see people get their first wins. First moto win, first overall would be cool. So, I mean, Payson Johnson, though, it's not a foregone conclusion that he's going to stay up here in this spot right now. He's holding on to it, but anything can happen. Payson is a known sender, and I think he wants to get up there and try to close down the 12-second gap to first. So we'll see if he can hold on to it, or if it comes to bite him, he still has to deal with all those lappers that we talked about as he gets around one cleanly right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's only round 4, but what do you think? Is Payson in this situation thinking, all right, I got Leclerc, I'm gaining points again in the championship, Trevor Burns is great and all that, but he's not going to factor into this title fight. So if you're Payson, you're winning the overall, you're gaining points in the championship, you're kind of ticking all the boxes today, but we also kind of know Payson, right? Like, at all costs, I feel like he wants to win every moto he goes out and races. He might not even care about the championship this early on. He might just want to go out and win this thing.
Yeah, I think he just I think he only has one speed, and it's as fast as he can go. And that's why when he's back in the pack and behind slower riders, it gets him in trouble. But when he's in this spot, he's not really thinking of, okay, Leclerc's 2 seconds behind me, I got to go this fast or do this. He's just thinking, ride as fast as I can. And where that gets me, that gets me. It's probably going to end up in me winning. And, I mean, he's barely only gaining a little bit on Trevor Burns, but I don't think he really cares. If he gets it, he'll take the 3 points if he gets there. He's got the overall, and he's going as fast as possible, but he's not going to either slow down or speed up, I think, just for an overall win, I guess is what I'm trying to say here.
Right. He's already put 3 seconds on Leclerc, and he's chipped it down to just about 10 seconds to Burns. He was about 13 seconds back when we first kind of came to him. So he's gained a few seconds, a little mistake right there, but it's not enough time left in this race. We're already at almost 27 minutes in. 2 laps left to go, and 10 seconds is the gap. He's going to need, I think, a little bit of help out of Burnsy to win this one, which you can't put it past. As well as Burns is riding, this track has started to deteriorate more and more. There's big bumps everywhere. There's lappers he's still trying to weave around. And, this could be a bit crunch time. If you're Trevor Burns, you never won a moto in your life before, outdoors, and maybe that nerves of it starts to creep in just a little bit as you realize, all right, this time by, maybe 4 to go. I only got 4 more laps of going around this racetrack before I get my first moto win. Oh, no, I'm starting to think about it too much now, and suddenly you start making too many mistakes.
Yeah, I honestly think he's been so locked in, especially... with the lap times. I was going to say, I don't think he's going to think of the nerves unless he has a tip over. And to me, that kind of counts. I thought he would not fall off, but he might lose 2 or 3 seconds and then go, oh shit, my 10 seconds is now 7. And what am I going to do? I got to go, because I honestly think he was just in a flow state, because he had that one crash in the corner coming up in that we'll see. But other than that, it's been a pretty flawless race. He's ran fast lap times. his fast lap time is only 2/10 off of what Payson Johnson had ran. So I honestly think unless he makes another like big mistake or something, I think he's fine. And really the nerves, I think he's so locked in. He's in his flow state and he's just on it right now and hopefully not thinking too much about it. And time is just going to pass like this, a flash before his eyes.
Yeah, with that mistake, like you mentioned, it was basically exactly 3 seconds that Payson made up. So now it's down to 7 seconds flat, and they're going to have 3 laps to go next time by. Payson needs to make a little bit more inroads just to get up to this position where he could even challenge Trevor Burns. So if you're Burns, all you can really do right now is just settle back down and not think about the fact that you made a small bobble. Settle into your pace again. Think about where you were on the racetrack and where Payson still is on the racetrack. You have time in hand to play with, and coming to 3 laps to go this time by, you're starting to think about, okay, well, there's less opportunities for a mistake. There's less opportunities for Payson to continue to make inroads on me in this fight for the race lead. And again, they were teammates last year, so it could even be a situation where Burns knows what Payson is going to be like in this situation and doesn't need to panic because he might be thinking, well, Payson's probably freaking out trying to get to me in the first place or what have you. But having that knowledge basis and all those things going on for him will certainly help him try to plan out how he's going to figure out these last 3 laps.
Yeah, he's just riding an amazing race right now, and just the way that he's been able to get around these lapped riders, I hope he continues as we see him coming up on Adam Holm right here. Adam Holm, the veteran, going to go ahead and give him the main inside line there. Probably just kind of stay out of his way, exactly how he should, and that's what he should expect. But he's also gotten around some riders that have been down, just as you see him jumping over another one. But he is just getting around them so cleanly, and I honestly think he's just flowing, and I'm super pumped by the poise that he's had and been able to kind of do as he's coming up on another down lapper here. They just never end in outdoors. 40 riders spread out over a 2-minute lap time track, but you still seem to always be behind him as a huge mistake.
He goes down. He checked up to try to not hit the lapper and ends up losing the front end over the top of the jump. Freaks out, gasses it, and has another instant fall-off crash. The dream is over, and Payson Johnson is now looking at a 1-1 day here at High Point. It was going so well until it wasn't for Trevor Burns.
I think I'm going to cry. As Trevor Burns' #1 fan after that ride. I mean, that's just a bummer. Most of those lappers were kind of getting out of the way or falling out of his way, and that one that he just kind of came up on just a little bit too quick was in his line. Tried to do something maybe a little bit too late, just one small mistake, and that's all that you need to kind of drop it. Not that Payson Johnson still can't make anything, but it's so hard to have gone through. He fell off earlier, was able to get through the adversity, work his way back up in the lead, and then to lose it like that is heartbreaking. Hopefully he can settle back down, put in a good finish, and be proud of what he's done here today. But Payson Johnson, man, he's the man on the mission. The fastest lap man on the track, barely over Trevor Burns today, but he's going to come across and get the 2-lap board as we come up to the finish line here at High Point Moto 2.
Yep, 2-lap board is out. 2 laps to go here in 450 Moto 2 at High Point, and Payson Johnson on his way to a 1-1 performance on the day, extending that championship lead out. He's got a 15-second margin on Trevor Burns, who picked it up only 3 seconds ahead of Alexis Leclerc. That's how costly that double fall-off crash was for our former race leader. And look, if you're Payson Johnson, he was starting to eat that gap down. I was just about to say before Burns fell, it was suddenly under 5 seconds. We were at about 4.6 that Payson had got it down to when Burns fell. So we were potentially in for a good battle for the Moto win regardless. But Burns goes down and hands it back over to Payson. And look, Payson Johnson talked about it. Coming from about 11th on the opening lap, made a couple crucial mistakes at the midpoint of the race that we thought may cost him the Moto win, but he finds a second wind, and now he's going to go down. And he's in a bad spot right here as well. It's going to be a long time before Burnsy gets there, but Johnson now cannot afford another fall-off crash here as he picks it up. Yeah, Burns coming down in transition here. That second fall-off crash from Burns was so costly in the end.
That honestly is everything, because if it was just that one fall-off, we would be talking about Trevor Burns able to get back in the lead after a huge Payson Johnson mistake and a second fall-off that he cannot control. The game just put him leaned over to where he fell on his own and he had zero control. It's just such a bummer. Trevor Burns, though, and looks like he's made another mistake as he's dropping back on live timing. I think he's back in 4th place. Colby Eaglin gets by him. I honestly think Trevor Burns could have won this moto if it wasn't a double fall off. I think he's pissed off. I think he's flustered, and it's just a bummer that he has to deal with this now, and it's what could have been right now. And now look, he's battling with lappers that he had already gotten around. Just a bummer for Trevor here.
Spencer Turley crossing him up right there as
what's up, my dude?
Turley goes off the track and Burns gives him a little bit of a shove, I think, right there. Probably not happy. And yeah, that's tough right there for Burns. He was going so well. And our leader, Payson Johnson, checks in, gets the white flag now. Look, I mean, this isn't over yet. If Johnson crashes again, Leclerc will be right on him, which is the last thing Payson wants to see. Colby Eaglin quietly has snuck into a great 3rd position in this moto. We know Burns has slipped to 4th, and Pablo Vial now rounds out our top 5. Seth Shirley is still in 20th, and watching any real hope he had at the championship, I think, slipped fully away today. Tyler Lang is running in 6th, by the way. He was another guy that we were expecting to maybe have a little bit better of a day at High Point, not really working out in his favor. So I think it's really at this point down to, is anybody going to stop Payson Johnson from just completely running away with this championship?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The only 3 that were really there were Tyler Lang, Alexis Leclerc, and Payson Johnson himself, who can be his own worst enemy. But with the speed that we've seen him show at Paula round 1 and here today at High Point, I think that he's got to, not only does Leclerc have to go out there and put in rides like this, but Payson Johnson has to go. And oh my gosh, what should have been a fall-off crash for almost anybody else and the rider that just went down behind him. Payson Johnson holds on to a 360 slide out and pulls another little special trick there for us. But I honestly think Leclerc has to have these great rides and Payson has to have bad rides and mistakes. Like, it has to coincide for anything to happen, and I don't know how much I see that happening. And not to say this championship is a foregone conclusion, but man, we're gonna have to have some bad luck out here for Payson if he keeps riding like this.
Yep, he is on the move and on his way to a big 1-1 overall win here today at High Point. That championship lead is going to balloon out to well over a full moto's distance. Might even be creeping up to 2 full motos based on that rough first one out of Alexis Leclerc. Just dealing with a little bit of lap traffic here at the bottom of the hill one more time, but Payson Johnson has done it all today. He's started up front and dominated. He's come through the field to win, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a 1-1 sweep of High Point for Payson Johnson. A huge win on the day here in Pennsylvania. It's going to be a 10-2 performance for Leclerc, rebounded well in the second moto after a very tough first moto. And looks like Colby Eaglin's going to go 5-3 on the day. We'll see what the overalls look like. Burnsy, who led so much of this moto, ends up 4th in this one. Goes 3-4 today. Pablo Vial, strong day for him as well. Going to go 8-5 by the looks of it. Tyler Lang, who was 7th in the first moto, now 6th right now. Killian Ortiz coming down the hill. Jacob Hubbard, Frank Jackson, Enzo Butigny, Braden Castellaneta, everybody pretty spread out. Noah Bindis, Bodie Parker, Ethan Gerst, Teddy Lehman right behind Ethan Gerst. That battle might come down to the end. Devin Davis, Bryce Whelan, Tyron Tomich, Seth Shirley 19th, and Adam Holm 20th.
Damn, that's
Sorry.
You scared the crap out of me. I was looking at my phone. It's crazy that so many of the guys that finished like Eaglin, I mean, Burns was pretty consistent, but like Vial, Lang, they were so back and forth. And you got spoilers like Killian Ortiz and Frank Jackson had one bad one, one good one. No one really has been consistent so far. I mean, no one even near as consistent as we've seen Payson Johnson so far this year, and it's just really letting him extend it. But we've still got riders on the track. We got Devin Davis in 14th place right here with Noah Bindis chasing, trying to give him the business down this hill. Hold it wide. Rail this rut. Send it. Come on. You got to send it down this hill. Let's see. D. Davis still chasing for points. These guys have been on the track for 38 minutes. and they are in points. Bendis goes down, so Teddy Lehman behind him. Devin Davis up in front of him chasing Ethan Gurst, but he is not going to get there. Gurst holds on to it. Oh, tips over, almost loses the spot. D. Davis 1 second back is going to finish there, and holy cow. Let's see, saves it, still gets it after cuts. What a ledge.
What a ledge. What a day of racing as well. Great stuff here from High Point.
The highest of all points,
and a Twizy sweep as well. Cade Matherly and Payson Johnson putting the Twizy Hondas on top in both classes, and they're going to be stoked about that. Going to go back and celebrate this one tonight, as they should. All right, that is going to do it for myself and Andrew Wood here in the studio. Kellen Brower alongside Andrew Wood. Round 4 of RaceFactory Gaming Nationals is done. And yeah, Twizy Honda sweep Matherly and Payson Johnson tonight.
I mean, they're kind of dominating. I mean, Payson's dominating, and if Cade keeps doing what he's doing, it's all about consistency in outdoors. These guys all have the speed. Anyone can come up and win a random moto, but it's about getting those starts, putting yourself up in the top 5 consistently, just not losing too many points here and there. And Cade really had a nice bounce back kind of week. And just showed these guys that he's trying to take over this championship. And Seth Carr's got to watch out for him in 250 class. And I don't even know what we can do in the 450 class. I think Payson has to take it away from himself.
Yeah, Payson is certainly the man to beat now in this 450 class, and he is going to be a tough one to beat in that 250 class. Should be a lot of fun. We'll get back into action in 2 weeks' time, actually. We're having a week off next week from the real schedule and the virtual schedule. So after High Point, weekend off. And then back for Southwick. Andrew Wood, it's the Southwick National Round 5 in 2 weeks' time. So I think that's the 26th, something like that. Then we'll be back, I don't know, some day of the week, next Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays from now, whatever it is.
It is 6/12 right now.
Yep.
I missed the 10-year anniversary of my overall win, so we will be celebrating this year.
All right, there we go.
Getting really drunk.
We'll be celebrating this year for sure. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you guys for the subs again tonight. Everybody that was playing the fun games with using your channel points for the betting side of it and so on and so forth. Very, very much appreciate all the support every week. Big shout out to RaceFactoryGaming.com and the RaceFactory Gaming track crew for all the work that they do. And we hope to see you back in 2 weeks' time for the Southwick National MX Simulator. This has been High Point, round 4 of RaceFactory Gaming Nationals in 2024. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. So long for now.
Oh, yeah?
Another day, another beer.
Doolies!
If you're a desk chair, he'll definitely sleep on you every single